Welcome, everyone. We are here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. This is a sound check Hobbs Eagle football game with the Organ Mountain squad here at, again, pretty nice field going on with the Field of Dreams. Of course, lots of teams play here. Las Cruces High, of course, Organ Mountain tonight. Also, Mayfield's here as well, and Centennial. So 4 teams. Sometimes they play Thursday night, sometimes they play Friday, and even Saturday. So lots of games get taking place on this turf. I know Hobbs a few years ago, you had to play here on some Thursday nights, even against Organ Mountain, which I used to be on Yate then. But, again, that's the scheduling that goes on this place. Tonight we got the Hobbs Eagles, Organ Mountain, and both these squads are trying to stay out of the bottom of the district. Hobbs got their first win last week in district and knocking off Alamogordo in very big-time style. So they're in a pretty good position at this point, currently ranked 9th in the Max Preps poll. So a couple more wins to finish up the regular season. Right now, we'll talk about this in the pregame show in just a couple of minutes. Good shot at getting into the playoffs. That's the way it looks for some teams that are beneath them in the rankings right now. Teams they've beaten, such as Clovis and some other squads too, Alamogordo, for example, and then a chance to play Carlsbad next week. So we'll talk about all that in the pregame show. Right now, just doing a sound check, and I'll turn over to Ron.
Yes, indeed. This is my sound check, and so grateful for y'all to be able to watch this as we give it to you live. Yeah, you were talking about the fact that this is the Field of Dreams where 4 teams do play. Last night it was the scene where Carlsbad came in, played Las Cruces. They won. They got the first score, 7-0, but they weren't able to do that anything after that. 43 unanswered points from Las Cruces, and Carlsbad scored the final score, but it was 43-14. You know, we can also talk about the fact that Organ Mountain has had a terrible season this year. They are 0-8, but they've also, since last season, they've lost 13 in a row. And they're hoping, of course, to break that, but we're hoping they won't against Hobbs, as they are now on a 6-game winning streak against the Knights, and they're hoping to bring it to 7. Once again, this is a sound check, just making sure our levels are good. And we'll be coming back here in about, about 10 minutes or so to be able to start the pregame. This is going to kick off at 7 o'clock. Once again, this is the sound check for the Organ Mountain Knights versus the Hobbs Eagles right here on the Hobbs Radio Network.
Welcome to the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Time for Hobbs Eagle football live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and let's not forget the Cool 95.7 Facebook page as well. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you, and at the station Evie tonight as the Eagles take on this Organ Mountain squad, the Knights here in Las Cruces. Big district game, Ron. Of course, the Eagles getting their first win last week over Alamogordo in a blowout mercy rule fashion. I mean, this game was pretty much not contested from the start. Eagles romping all over the Alamogordo Tigers in that one, 56-19. So 37-point victory. Clock was running throughout most of the second half with the mercy rule. So big game. And numbers coming out of that one, 612 total yards. I think what's that, third all-time in terms of numbers for the Hobbs Eagles team
for
yardage?
Overall, it's not as much. Actually, I think I clocked it at number 10 for the record books. But for the rushing, that's a different story. 514 total yards for the team. That is third most in the Hobbs Eagles history, and that is beating 579 versus Goddard back in 1981, of course, when Timmy Smith was the major running back. And then, of course, you had back in 2009 when Patrick Smith, who ends up being related to Timmy Smith as his nephew, or it was Uncle Timmy Smith as he knew him. 545 was the total yards against Lovington. That was back in 2009. So, yes. So he has set himself not only for the team, but as well for Saul Armendariz as being a top running back in the history of the Hobbs Eagles.
Yeah, number one, 18 carries, 347 yards in that game over Alamogordo with the victory. The total yardage, 612 to 234. I mean, just complete annihilation there. And a couple other guys getting some rushing yardage, too. Henry coming off with 6 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. And Hawkes, 5 carries for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. So those two combined for 3 TDs to add to the 4 that Armendariz got on the rushing side of the coin there. So exciting stuff for the Eagles with their rushing numbers. And, again, in the top 10 for the program as well. And, again, congratulations to Saul Armendariz. But you mentioned this several times throughout the game. Offensive line broke open a lot of those. In fact, several of his big plays were 50-plus getting into the end zone.
Yeah, they were dominating on that offensive line, and that's the reason why, if I wanted to give anybody, I know Saul Armendariz really did a good job. Didn't know how well he did. In fact, even the coach didn't even know that he had broken a record until after the game was over with. But, you just want to give it to even Saul Armendariz said he couldn't have done it without that offensive line, and I think we're going to see that offensive line come out again tonight, be able to play just as well and get everybody open. That was another reason I think they had such success also on a little bit of their passes. They didn't have a whole lot, but once they started passing, they did pretty well as also.
Owen Callaway, the quarterback, 10 of 12 for 137 in the air for the Eagles in that win over Alamogordo. Jeremiah Hawkes, 5 catches for 99 yards, had a touchdown off a reception. Justin Black, 3 catches for 20. And Franklin getting 2 catches for 18. Those 3 receivers, the only ones with receptions in that game against the Tigers. Looking at the Hobbs Eagle defense in the contest, of course, only giving up 19 points and getting the game into mercy rule. Lots of guys stepping up with tackles in the game. Linebacking core especially. Tristan Davis led the team with 26, 10 of those solo and 2 tackles for losses. So he definitely was getting a big-time look at the offensive for Alamogordo. Also getting some big tackle numbers in that game. Zayden McPherson, he had 13 tackles, 6 solo. Also had a fumble recovery for the Eagles in that one. And Diaz Castro, another linebacker, 11 tackles, 8 solo. So majority on his own on the defensive side for the Eagles. We should also mention, too, Javen Hernandez had an interception for the Hobbs Eagles secondary. So things going pretty well in terms of shutting down the Alamogordo offense. They did end up with 91 yards rushing, so under 100. That Adet kid had 78 of those. And then the passing game was just 143. So a total of 234 yards for Alamogordo. And, of course, the Hobbs Eagles almost triple that number with what they got, the 612 mark. So good job on both sides, the offense and the defense, with that first district win.
And, yeah, even though we talked about the fact that penalties were a bit of a problem for the Hobbs Eagles, one of the things that wasn't a problem was the fact that Saul Armendariz did all that running in just 18 carries versus when Patrick Smith did it back in 2009. He had to do it in 40 carries. And so, that's another reason why Coach Stevens said, hey, I didn't even know that was going on until, in fact, we weren't even quite sure about it. We knew he had long plays for touchdowns, but we didn't add it all up until at the end of the game when we went, you know what, it looks like he may have broken a record. And sure enough, he did, and did it with what was it, about 30 yards to over.
Yeah, over what he needed. Penalties, you did mention that being an issue. 148 penalty yardage in that game, and definitely something you need to work on a little bit there. Several 15-yard penalties for the Eagles in that one. In fact, they had a total of 6 of those, the personal foul variety, PI also, I believe, too. So got to clean that up, getting close to the playoffs. That's going to be a situation that you don't want to have to mess with those handkerchiefs flying. Their opponent tonight, Oregon Mountain, have some serious trouble. They're 0-8 so far this season, 0-3 in the district, and in fact, they've lost 2 district games by 42-0 counts. Last week to Las Cruces High here at the Field of Dreams, it was 35-0 at halftime in favor of the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs had 5 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. And then, of course, Oregon Mountain just not effective at all on offense. They gave up 2 on downs, 1 fumble, 1 safety, 1 interception given up, and also punted once. Just nothing going offensively. Their head coach, Coach Perez, was kicked out of the game at right before halftime on an unsportsmanlike conduct situation. I don't think he will be coaching. Usually you have to sit out a game, NMAA rules, so we'll have to double check on that if he's in here tonight or not, but he was ejected out of that game. So, and by the way, he does have a storied history as a head coach. I mean, he was the state champion 4 years in a row at a high school in Las Vegas, Nevada, not New Mexico, but Nevada, Bishop Gorman. So 4 state championships, but also 2 national championships. Now, they don't have playoffs like they do for the estates, but they have USA Today newspaper, and also Max Preps gets involved with looking at teams throughout the country. And in 2015 and 2016, they got the #1 spot in the country for high school. So definitely a very good coach at that point. He was a Max Preps Coach of the Year back in 2016, and all those state championships as well. Now, after he left there, he got into some court situations, did go to Florida, and got into it with the AD and did not remain in their program in a high school in Florida, and then finished up going over to Las Cruces here to be a coach for this Oregon Mountain team. His brother, by the way, is an assistant coach at New Mexico State, who also used to be a head coach at UNLV, another Perez, so definitely has some good bloodline when it comes to coaching. But right now, 0-8 record. Of course, they lost a player last year. He wasn't coaching them last year, of course, got injured early in the season, and that was kind of a pall over the whole season. Pretty unfortunate situation for the whole community in terms of Oregon Mountain and having to deal with that, and having the student-athlete pass away as well. And a lot of teams are raising money for his efforts and helping him out with the family medical bills and all that. But, again, hasn't been a good start to the season, but still a couple games left for Oregon Mountain. And, of course, tonight against the Hobbs Eagles, Hobbs would like to build on that win last week, get a couple more. Right now they're ranked 9th and have a better strength of schedule than 8 other teams in the top 10. Only Cleveland is better than Hobbs right now. A lot of teams are negative in strength of schedule. Hobbs playing some very tough opponents. They beat Rio Rancho, who's ranked 10th. They also play teams like Artesia, who's number 2 in their division, and also Lovington, who's number 2 in their division. I mean, those are teams not in the same class as the Eagles, but that looks good on paper. And, of course, playing Centennial, Las Cruces High, those teams are ranked as well. That's why the Eagles have a good strength of schedule. And I think right now 2 wins have got them probably in the top 7 or 8 in the state for the playoffs. 2 losses might drop them a few points, but in terms of the playoffs, right now they're ahead in the rankings of teams like Clovis, Alamogordo, right beneath them in a couple slots. That means they would have the playoff bid against those 2 squads. That looks pretty good for the Eagles. So you're looking at probably a playoff spot regardless of what happens here in the next couple games.
Exactly, and they're also looking good against a team like Farmington, who has a 5-3 record. They have a weaker strength of schedule, so that doesn't bode well for them, but it does bode well for Hobbs. So that is something that is we can look at for the playoffs.
Looks like the national anthem getting ready here at the Field of Dreams. We'll take a break and come back live in 90 seconds. Hobbs Eagle football on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here at the Field of Dreams. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you. Evie Stuber back at the station. Eagles getting ready to play Organ Mountain, the Knights here at the Field of Dreams, the home field for 4 teams in Las Cruces. Of course, we're talking right before the break about the good chance for the Eagles to make the playoffs, especially with 2 more wins added to their record right now of 1-2 in the district. Currently sitting in 3rd, and Las Cruces high at 4-0, and then Centennial number 2 spot at 3-0. The Hobbs Eagles at 3rd at 1-2, but have Alamogordo and Carlsbad with the same record at this point, but they have the win over Alamogordo, so that's a good plus for the Eagles. And Organ Mountain at 0-3. Hobbs outscoring their opponents on the average in district so far, 30-29. A lot of that thanks to the Alamogordo game last week. Organ Mountain, on the other hand, is only averaging 3 points a game and giving up 37 a contest just in district games alone. So kind of give you kind of a taste of what the situation is at this point in time. Taking a look at the stats this year for the Hobbs Eagles so far, Hobbs throwing some very good numbers for the Eagles. Of course, they've had a couple of quarterbacks at the spot. Callaway has been the more recent starter, and he is definitely throwing very well, getting upwards close to 1,000, 813 yards in the air, completing 52% of his passes. The team as a whole right now at 1,313 yards in the air, and 494 of those from Beatty, who was the starter first 3 games, and now it's been Callaway. So those 2 guys combined again, 1,313, about 164 yards a game for the Eagles in the air. Looking at the receivers so far this season, the big leader at this point is Jeremiah Hawkes, 641 yards in receptions on 52 catches, averaging 12.3 a catch and about 80 yards a game. So definitely some big numbers there. Really a big drop-off after that. One guy with 200 plus, that's Franklin, 232. He's averaging close to 13 yards a catch and about 30 yards a game. And then about 3 or 4 other receivers, about 100 apiece in the receiving core. Rushing numbers, of course, after the breaking of the record last week for Armendariz, 854 yards on the season on the ground, 7.8 a carry, and about 106 yards a contest. He's a very big part of the rushing attack, and really nobody even close. A couple guys at 100 plus, but that's about it. Hobbs with 1,220 yards in the running game. Again, 1,313 in the pass. So kind of giving you some numbers there for the Hobbs Eagle offense up to this point. And, of course, we've talked all year long, Ron, about the linebacking core and how a great job they've stepped up this season in terms of tackles and getting in position to make those tackles. Tristan Davis currently the leader with 94 tackles so far, 52 of those solo. Zayden McPherson has 86, so right behind him, another senior linebacker there. Those guys really stepping up. They combine for about 23 tackles a ball game. And, again, they are the 2 leaders on defense in terms of wrapping people up.
Yeah, and we're looking at a winning streak of 6 in a row for Hobbs. Can they make it number 7, or will they send the Organ Mountain Knights to their 14th straight losing game since all the way back to Knights last season? In fact, last time they won, it was here. It was against Gadsden, 49-21. That happened on September 15th, 2022. So they're hungry for a win, but Hobbs is as well. So we're going to see who can play better, who can make less mistakes, and who will come out here with a victory. Last year, the Eagles winning at home, 48-6 over Organ Mountain, 41-0 at halftime. Hobbs with 463 yards in terms of total offense in that one. Jeremiah Hawkes had 4 catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns in that victory. Zayden McPherson, Cameron Hernandez both getting action in that game defensively with this total of 16 tackles. Here's the kickoff for the Eagles, end over end. It'll take a bounce at the Organ Mountain 20, picked up at the 15 off the roll on the left hash, and not much of a return, maybe a yard, and that's about it. Swapped by the Eagles and put down about a gain of 1, as I mentioned, as the return man did not have much room to get around that left hash there, as that for Organ Mountain on the return was Xavier Perez, one of their wide receivers. So get ready to start the game here with the first offensive possession for Organ Mountain. They'll get it at their 18-yard line underway here at the Field of Dreams. And you expect to see they're going to run. They usually run anyway, but you're going to expect to see them to run and pass second if they have to.
Logan Tarango, the starting quarterback. E.J. Guerra is their leading rusher. But they've had a lot of change-ups as this team is 0-8 and trying to get a chemistry going. They're going to go with 2 receivers right, 1 to the left side. Single setback is Guerra, as Tarango's going to wait for the shotgun snap. He's going to bring a man in motion to the left side now to make it twins left. Hobbs has 5 in the front line. The delay handoff to Guerra, tries to get up the gut and is dropped outside the left hash. Not much going on that one as the Eagles come in quickly. And putting the stop on him for the Hobbs defense on that wrap-up was Canyon Johnson, the defensive end for the Eagles. looks like a gain of about a half a yard on the play for Guerra.
Yeah, very much, very liberally gave him a yard on that one. So it's 2nd and 9, and Onate still, Oregon Mountain already messing up. Oregon Mountain trying to get into the game of this.
Twins left, receiver right for the Knights as they wait for the shotgun again. Triangle going to fake the handoff, comes around the left end, breaks a tackle to the 20 to the 25. Good fake on the handoff there to Guerra, and is on that left hash once again. And he's going to be short of the first down as he does pick up 6. So they'll have to get 3 to get the first down on their third down situation.
Yeah, took Hobbs by surprise a little bit on that one, looked like, as he gained quite a few yards. So, yeah, 3rd and short is for the Knights. Let's see what they can do on this one and try to get that first down.
Point of the football just at the 25-yard line on the left hash brings up a 3rd down and 3. 7 yards on the ground so far for an Oregon Mountain. Again, they are 0 for 3 in the district at this point. Hobbs at 1 and 2. One receiver left, 2 to the right side. Back in shotgun once again is Tarango. Gives it to Guerra, who stumbles at the line of scrimmage, tries to fall forward, and he's going to be short of the first down. Looks like he might have got 2 of those yards, but tripped behind the line for some reason. Not sure what that was all about. And waiting to see what the spot's going to be. I cannot believe this. One of the referees is calling that a first down. It looked like he fell down about a yard and a half behind, but the line judge on this near sideline said he got 3. And now there's going to be official timeout. It looks like there's an injured Oregon Mountain player who's being helped off the field. So they're going to go ahead and give 3 yards that time to Guerra. He's got 2 carries for 4 total. And that will be the first down of the game for the Knights.
And that's a defensive end, senior Nathan Gutierrez, who is being helped off the field. That doesn't look good either. And from the looks of it, unless it's just a slight sprain, he may be gone for the rest of the game.
So they go ahead and give the liberal spot there. The ball is at the 28-yard line for the Knights. Still here in the first quarter. 1 receiver left, 2 to the right. As Tarango goes back to the shotgun. Hobbs will load up 4 in the box. Give it off. No, taking it back as Tarango gets spun around at the line of scrimmage and falls forward that time. And he's lucky he got a yard out of that play with the forward progress. Looked like getting a swipe at him for the Eagles was Jacob Diaz, the junior DB, coming up from the secondary to help out on that one. And looks like they will give him that fall forward 1 yard. The quarterback, who's got total of 2 carries for 7 total, 3.5 a pop. 2nd down and 9 now from the 29-yard line.
And just like the first play of the Knights, they did the same thing, gained 1 yard. Now let's see what they can do with the rest of them, as they're just barely getting that first play in for the Knights against this tough defense for Hobbs.
And you mentioned in the pregame show, too, a predominant run team, but they like to spread those receivers out to try to get the DBs out as far to the sidelines as possible. 2nd down and 9 now from the 29-yard line for the Knights. They got twins right, receiver left. Give the ball and a skimper step up the middle there, kind of hesitating a bit, and that gives enough time for the Hobbs Eagle right side of the defensive line to swamp down over the top of Guerra as he kind of shuffled his feet to the left and then went down quickly.
Looks like they may give him 2.
Canyon Johnson, the man to put a little hurt, and getting up limping is Guerra. So, yep, 2 yards on that one. Canyon Johnson already with 2 tackles for the Eagles. 3 carries for 6 yards for Guerra, and that's bringing up a 3rd down and 7 for Oregon Mountain at their own 31-yard line. 8:43 left, first quarter here in Las Cruces. Hobbs Eagle football on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, and on the radio at Cool 95.7. 1 receiver far left, 2 to the right side in front of the Oregon Mountain bench. Shotgun, Tarango going to roll right. He wants to throw in the pocket, gets swapped down to the ground. The Eagles from behind the line put it back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's all she wrote for Tarango. Some good pressure in the backfield, and the sack being taken care of for the Eagles by Tristan Davis.
I was looking at that. It looked like he was in on that, if not in the middle of it, and definitely was congratulating all the teammates for the help.
That's -3 on the sack. Great job for Davis to get through that time. And now that's going to be a punt situation for Oregon Mountain. They've got 3 guys back to block for the punter. He's back at the 10-yard line. So they definitely want to get some help back there. They were backed up about 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. This is a sidewinder punt. Going to bounce near the 50 and take a roll. And it stays in Oregon Mountain territory at the 49. So the Eagles not even going to get anywhere close to that football on the right hash. As they go right to left on the radio dial, they will take the ball in Oregon Mountain territory on their first possession of this ball game. Still scoreless, 7:38 left first quarter after the first punt of the game.
And they're already on the right side of the field. They're on the 49 of the night, so they only have to go 49 yards for a TD.
Callaway, the quarterback, back to shotgun. Twins left, 2 receivers to the right side as well. And Armendariz in the backfield, the record breaker from last week. Actually, no, they got somebody else back there. It's Amarian Kennedy. 2-step drop, pump fake, rolling right now. Getting out of the pocket is Callaway. Just has to unload it, and he knew there was nobody open. Receiver was covered up down at the 30-yard line. Just threw it out of bounds, which is legal this year. Go about 3 yards outside the blocking zone, and you're able to get rid of it to the sideline. As long as it gets to the line of scrimmage, you're okay, and he did about 4 yards past the line that time for an incomplete.
Yeah, get out of the tackle box. But, they already know that they're going to be keying on Saul Armendariz, so maybe they're looking at a different look to see if they can mix things up and confuse it for the Knights.
Of course, Armendariz can go out in pass plays as well on the wide receiver spots. I don't even see him on the field at this point. We see Justin Black out there at the left receiver, and looks like Hobbs is going to get 3 on the right side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench short side. Bring a man in motion from right to left. Give the handoff to Hawkes to the left side as he tucks the ball, puts his head down to the left hash and gets across for about 1 yard. Hopefully gets at least 1 yard on that and not a knee going down at the line of scrimmage.
It looks like they may have given him just 1 yard.
Double checking to make sure that was Hawkes that time. It might have been, looked like either 2 or 8. Sorry about these lemon numbers. We've had trouble all season with that. Amarian Kennedy might have been the guy with the ball that time. And about 1/2 yard if he's lucky on that one for the Eagles. So make it a 3rd down and 9 now at the 48-yard line. They bring a man in motion left to right, shotgun. They'll dump it with the screen right to the line of scrimmage right up the middle to the 45 and falling to the 44. That'll be a 5-yard pickup for the Eagles. A quick shot to the right side of the line of scrimmage.
That was Hawkes.
Yeah, that was Hawkes that time, as he'll get 5 yards, but the Eagles are going to be short by about 4 for the first down, but in Organ Mountain territory.
And they're definitely going to go for it, looks like.
That was the first pass of the ball game. Making the second, 1 of 2 are the Eagles. Ready for the shotgun, a hard snap count. They get a penalty out of this from the defense. That would be a first down. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Back in shotgun once again is Callaway. Takes a good snap, 2-step drop, steps up in the pocket, lets it fly to the left sideline over the shoulder. Cut it to 10, 5, and down to the 2-yard line. Big pickup from the 49, or make it the 48 down to the 2 for a 46-yard reception. Big catch there for the Eagles that time. Coming up with it is Deshaun Franklin. So Franklin doing a great job there. Actually, they're going to say 42 on that one. So Franklin with a big catch in stride that time. And the Hobbs Eagles are in business. 1st and 10, their first down of the ball game at the 2-yard line, make it the 1.5. Eagles looking at the sideline now to get the play call, and a sub is getting out of the game quickly here, so they don't have too many men on the field. And they're still looking for their play call here to Coach Stevens. Both coaches with the first name Ken, by the way. That's kind of a irony there. 1 receiver right, 1 to the left side. Split formation backfield for Callaway. As he's going to give the handoff to the right tailback, he puts his head down and slams through the line into the end zone for the touchdown. As the Hobbs Eagles have scored the first points of the ball game, Amarian Kennedy off a 2-yard touchdown handoff run, and the Eagles up 6-0.
Yeah, that looked like it was a complete run right in. He even actually was probably hitting players as he was getting into the end zone, but either way, very easy for Kennedy, and nice score for an early lead.
They went up and put 8 on the scoreboard. They had to erase 2 of those points. Hobbs not even attempting the PAT yet, and they'll do that now with the kick. So 6-0 to score, 2-yard touchdown run for Kennedy. So Kennedy gets some early time. Not sure what the status is of Saul Armendariz. I haven't seen him out there yet. We got a delay here.
It looks like a timeout possibly from Organ Mountain.
Yeah, and that's something I guarantee you, Coach Perez, not a happy camper. Calling timeouts during a PAT on defense is not what you want to see early. He's having a lot of words for the line judge, though, in front of the Organ Mountain bench. Not sure what the situation is. Maybe they don't want a timeout. Maybe there's a question about what's going on in the field here. As Coach Perez has come way out on the field. Actually, he's not. I don't think he's coaching tonight. That must be one of his assistants because he was ejected in that last game they had last week against Las Cruces High. They lost 42-0, was ejected before halftime, which usually means a sit-out by the NMAA rules. Well, so this might be an assistant coach.
Yeah, as you can see, that he's got all 3 of the refs over there trying to argue his point. Not sure exactly what it was. Maybe there was a false start. I don't know. But either way, he is definitely arguing about something that happened either during this play or the last play that, of course, was the score.
Now, one of the officials had his hand flat in front of his face and was kind of moving it up and down, so I'm not sure what that would be all about because it wasn't a pass play, so no discussion about a pass catch or anything like that. But then they send a sub into the ball game for some reason. Now, I'm still not sure. Boy, he's a heated coach at this point, one of the assistants for Oregon Mountain. And so the PAT will be attempted by the Eagles, just the basic kick that we've been waiting for here. And stepping up is Braddock Beatty, the sophomore kicker, of course, brother of was originally the starting quarterback the first three games, and then Callaway took over, of course. And the refs were still having some more discussion on the sideline, and now the Whitecap and the umpire are going to run back out on the field here, waiting for this PAT to be attempted from the 10-yard line. Hobbs up 6-0 after a 2-yard touchdown run already from Omarion Kennedy here in the first quarter. And still looks like we're trying to get the Whitecap on the right side of the kick. He was behind the holder, and
he was given a signal.
Needs to move to the right side here.
Now he is.
Waiting for this snap. A long delay. Here it is. The kick is up, and the kick is good inside the left upright. 5:43 remaining, first quarter. Your Eagles on the board first, 7-0 over Oregon Mountain. We'll take a 30-second break and come back live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, Hobbs Eagle football live on the radio and the internet. 7-0 your score. Omarion Kennedy, a 2-yard touchdown run, making it 7-zip. 5:43 left first quarter. Eagles ready to kick off, and a good start to this game, Ron.
It is. And, I was just looking at the clock thinking, we've been here a while longer. But no, the Knights had the ball first. They ran off a lot of clock, and here we are with 5:43 in the first.
Of course, the Knights did a punt on their first possession of the ball game. The Eagles getting some great tackling and a sack by Tristan Davis, a couple of tackles by Camden Johnson. So those guys will get ready to go out there again here in just a minute as we wait for Beatty to kick off from the 40-yard line, going right to left on the radio dial. And here comes the kick, end over end. It's going to hit about the same spot it did earlier to the 18, diving for it and flopping on the ground. About at the 15-yard line, body sprawled out on that far left sideline. I'm not sure why he put all that much of the dive into it that time because the ball could have rolled out of bounds, actually.
Right.
And that wouldn't have been an issue for Oregon Mountain. In fact, they could have taken it at the 35-yard line, so I'm not sure why he reacted the way he did that time, diving on the football like it was a fumble. It hadn't been touched yet. And the recovery man for Oregon Mountain was Julian Gonzalez. And now that will be Oregon Mountain football. They'll have it at the 15-yard line because he slid so far back on his body that he's ended up touching behind that 15. The ball bounced at the 18, and maybe he thought he touched it, but it didn't look like it originally on that one.
Exactly. I thought he was going to let it go out of bounds. That'd be a different situation, or maybe even just roll and see what happened.
Twins right, receivers 2 to the left as well for Oregon Mountain. Shotgun, back to pass is Tarango. He throws it to the right flat on the out route. It's caught about the 16, so some positive yardage there. First catch of the ball game for Oregon Mountain.
Quick to wrap him up was Jacob Diaz. He was right on the ball. As soon as it was released or caught, he was able to bring his receiver down, and it was a very short gain.
Yeah, not much on that one by Perez, so he'll have, looks like, close to 3. Second down and 7 now from the 17-yard line. Shotgun again, triangle with a 3-step drop, steps up, pocket, tucks, and he's somersaulted down to the ground hard as the Hobbs Eagles in that backfield. He's going to lose a couple of yards. First man on the site to clean him up hard was Oliver Hill, the defensive tackle, and he's going to lose a yard on the play.
Yeah, that pocket collapsed quickly on him. He was trying to get out of there, but it was much too late. He didn't have the instincts to get out of there. Ended up eating the ball, or as somebody would say, would eat the turf, monster. So he ended up going down and losing about 4 or 5 yards in the process.
Only 8 yards in rushing so far on a total of 7 carries for Oregon Mountain. A third down and 11 now. So actually, I believe they chopped off an extra yard off of that. So Tarango lost 3 on the play. Back to shotgun. We got a lot of movement on the line of scrimmage. The Eagle defense is pointing towards Oregon Mountain, and they're going to have a false start penalty. That'll be the first penalty of the ball game against Oregon Mountain for 5 yards. So that will back them up even more. Definitely deep to the 9-yard line now on the right hash. And that's going to bring up a third down and 16 now for the Knights.
And those Knights already struggle with this normal situations. Now they're third and long. Going to see if they can get that first down.
2 receivers left, one to the right side. Fake the handoff. Triangle going to throw the slant route. It's intercepted by the Eagles at the 15. Brought to the 10, the 5, into the end zone for the touchdown off the pick 6. Hobbs Eagles have scored their second TD of the ball game. Just waiting for it off the slant route. Ball a little bit overthrown. I think the man that comes up with the touchdown for the Eagles, and pretty excited to get some chest bumps. Looks like, I believe, number 4, which we don't have on the roster. Let me double check. And, again, apologize for these numbers. We've had this issue all year.
I'm seeing 4 as well. So, yeah, it is number 4. Not sure who you are, number 4, but great job on getting that, not only the interception, but the pick 6 as well.
So the Eagles will have it in the red zone. There is a flag late on the play. I'm not sure what this is going to be. We'll have to wait and see here.
Excessive celebration, most likely.
And that would be a 15-yard penalty backward. We'll see where they mark this at. Waiting for the Whitecap to signal it as well. It looks like Coach Stevens out to talk to one of the line judges, or the head linesman on the stick side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Haven't yet backed up the play here. And the Whitecaps coming back to the middle of the field to talk to everybody about it. Oh, we got a face mask. Oh, it's against Oregon Mountain. So
wow,
the touchdown will be good, and that will be put on the kickoff. So Hobbs will get to kick off a little bit deeper than they would have had to anyway. That would put it at the 45 to kick off instead of back at their own 40. So here comes the PAT to put 14 up on the board here. Kick is up, and it is good. 4:05 remaining here in the first quarter. The Eagles score on a pick 6 as we come back live in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Officially, Adrian Mora with the pick 6 for the Hobbs Eagles. Just waited in that little slant route area about 3 yards across the line of scrimmage from the left side. Picked off, went into the end zone for the touchdown. And your Hobbs Eagles up 14-0 quickly in this ball game. And that's been the problem of Oregon Mountain all year long. They've been down big, got beat twice in district, 42-0, Ron, and really having some issues with Las Cruces High and also lost to Centennial. Both of those games, really hurting their chances of getting into the playoffs. They haven't been there since 2016, so they're trying to get themselves back on track. Carlsbad beat them a few weeks ago, 29-10, a little bit closer game there. Their closest game this season was the first game of the season. They lost by 17 to Albuquerque High, 34-17. They got doubled by then, and then also the 19 to Carlsbad. So other than that, lost by 27, 30, etc. The kick is off, and it's going to go all the way back to the 2-yard line, brought up the far left sideline. Zigzagging to the 10, still on the left side, down to the 15, and then the big pile up. So about a 13-yard return for Oregon Mountain as the Hobbs Eagles meet the return man pretty quickly there.
But they're still way in their own deep in their own territory, unable to get good field position so far in this game.
Xavier Perez returning it to the 15-yard line, and a big pileup by the Hobbs Eagles on the coverage. They're on the left hash with 3:58 left first quarter, 14-0 your score. Again, last year the Hobbs Eagles winning at home 48-6. It was 41-0 at half. Eagles racking up 463 yards of total offense. They had 8 tackles for a loss in that game. The defense did for the Hobbs Eagles. And Jeremiah Hawkes, one of the big number men for the Eagles, had 4 catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tarango in the shotgun. Puts a man in motion to the left side to make it twins left, receiver right. He's going to give it up the middle on that left hash and meets the big pileup once again, E.J. Guerra. He's pretty much the go-to guy for Oregon Mountain. And coming up underneath the pile for the Hobbs Eagles, doing a good job of getting low on his legs that time, is Canyon Johnson. Ron, he's already had 3 tackles. Had a little bit of help on that one, but he was the low man on the totem pole in terms of wrapping up low on him.
Yeah, they definitely had plenty of players over there for Hobbs to be able to stop that run from getting more than the 2 yards that they earned.
So that's going to be the 5th carry of the game for Guerra. Again, as you said, that was for 2. He's got a total of 5 yards in rushing so far. 2nd down and 8 now from the 16-yard line. Fake the handoff, up the middle goes Tarango, tries to spin, and he's going to be hit hard at the 17 and goes behind the line. I guess the ricochet action there bumps him back. A little bocce ball action going on, as the Hobbs Eagles not going to let him try to stretch his body out that time to make any more yards off of that one.
Cameron Hernandez was the one that stopped that one, and definitely got him behind the line of scrimmage.
So lots of different guys are starting to step up for the Eagles. So Cameron picking up his first tackle. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down. And I guess you gave him forward progress on that one.
Apparently
a 1-yard pickup for the quarterback. Tarango has 4 carries so far for 5 yards. He was dropped behind the line of scrimmage once for 3, though. Twins right, receiver left. It's going to be a 3rd down and 3 from the 16. Back to pass. He's going to get pressure and going down hard. Back at the 9-yard line. Eagles just got the quick start from the line of scrimmage and nothing doing for Tarango. He didn't know what hit him.
Andrew Torres looks like he was the one at the solo tackle or the sack for the quarterback, and that gives you 4th down.
Yep, that's the defensive end, Andrew Torres, his first of the game, and now they're having a lot of real estate to deal with going back to the 10, so they're going to give him a loss of 6 on the play for the quarterback, and basically all they're doing is the quarterback fakes it, goes with it, or maybe runs with his running back for a second on a delay handoff, and then lets him move up the field. But that's all they've got so far in this ball game. They're going to go back to the punt for the 2nd time in the contest in the middle of the end zone. High snap. Kick is almost blocked. Nice high one, though. Hobbs is trying to wait for it. It bounces at the 40, still in Oregon Mountain territory, and rolls out of bounds about the 43. So another good field position situation here. They had it at the 49 on the last punt. Now even closer, Ron, at the 43.
Exactly. So far they've had the ball 3 times, all 3 times in Oregon Mountain territory. That is always great. Easier to make touchdowns for the Hobbs Eagles.
Hobbs scoring again off a 2-yard run for Kennedy to get it going early at 5:43, and then they had more with the pick 6 to make it 14-0. Eagles quickly up to the line of scrimmage. They want to keep Oregon Mountain on their toes and ready to play some football, not getting a chance to make any real big decisions on switches on the defense. Have it at the 43. Twins left and right. Going to go handoff around the right end. And they're going to get to the far right sideline to the 35-yard line. I thought the official was bringing that one back. He looked like he was slowing things down there. Then I realized that they went ahead and let the play go. And for the Eagles, they're going to pick up about 6 on the play, and that will be Kennedy. So he's going to be the go-to one for the Hobbs Eagles. Actually give him 7, 3 carries for 10 yards and that 2-yard touchdown scamper. And that'll put it now at the Oregon Mountain 36-yard line on the right hash. Trips left, trips to the right as well. Shotgun as Callaway's going to quickly throw it to the left flat. Caught at the 40, 35, 30, 25. There's going to be a legal block. 20, all the way down to the 10-yard line. But I think this one is coming back as one of the receivers were blocking for the receiver that caught the football. And heading up the near left sideline with the catch and extending it downfield for Hobbs was Deshaun Franklin, but I think we got a block to get him ahead about the 34-yard line, so that's going to be a 10-yard penalty, and it'll completely erase all the positive yardage on the catch and run.
Yeah, and I think that was unnecessary. However, may or may not have been, who knows. But in any case, Hobbs once again shooting himself in the foot after a big gain. That could have been inside the red zone almost, but instead they're going to have to walk it back and try it again.
Yeah, that originated from about the 32. That would have been about a 25-yard play there. And instead it goes back 10 from where the block happened, about the 33. So they're going to mark it back at the 46-yard line as the Eagles will be facing a 2nd down and 14 from the Oregon Mountain 46 on the left hash. 54 seconds left first quarter, quick moving quarter. Hobbs up 14-0 off a running play for a touchdown and a pick 6 on the defensive side. And it's nice when you get that little balance, Ron, an offensive score and a defensive one to go on top of it.
Exactly. One of each side. They can both be proud about it, plus the fact that there's only been running. There's been very little drop passes.
Nose guard kind of jumping off sides to the football that time and to try to get back, but that's only in the NFL. Once you break that plane, you are done. And he gets the call there. The big guy they get on the front line there, that was Francisco Alvarado. And so that'll be a 5-yard penalty for Oregon Mountain, their second total for 10. And they'll move it back to the 41 still in Oregon Mountain territory. Clock is going to be restarted by the Whitecaps. 2nd down and 9 now from the 41 on the left hash. Pairs of receivers on both sides for the Eagles. Shotgun to Callaway. Two-step drop, stays pocket, throws the curl route to the 32, but it's a high shot over the bench of the Oregon Mountain on the left side as he tried to get it out there hard and fast, and too much mustard on that throw out to Deshaun Franklin for the incomplete pass.
And that would have made it 3rd and short, but however, since it was a drop pass, 3rd and 9 is the call.
Hobbs 2 for 4 in the passing game for 50 yards, a 46-yarder to Franklin and a 4-yarder to Hawkes. 3rd down and 9 now from the 41. Still left hash. Eagles have got everybody bunched up in the line of scrimmage area. They got a slot and another receiver near the line of scrimmage. They go at the pitch right. Stutter step, cutting back to the 42, but going down to the line of scrimmage that time is the big kid Kennedy. But he's going to be lucky to get to the line. It looks like that's all he's getting. No gain on the play.
Yeah, definitely. May have lost one as well. But either way, tried something different, tried to roll out, did not fake out the Knights. And now it's going to be 4th and long, 4th and 9 to be exact.
So Hobbs might be facing a punt, although they are in Oregon Mountain territory with a 14-0 lead. That does run out the first quarter clock. I don't think the referees realize it as all the teams are still out there.
Right.
Whitecaps getting ready to start. Now he sees the scoreboard at the other end and is going to stop the action here so we can get the teams rested just a bit. We keep mentioning Omari and Kennedy getting the starting nod in the backfield in this game. We're going to try to find out what's going on with the record holder from last week, and we'll try to see what's going on with the running game for the Hobbs Eagles. We'll take a quick 60-second break and come back with the Eagles up 14-0 over Oregon Mountain. Welcome back. Start of the second quarter here in Las Cruces at the Field of Dreams. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner with you. Evie Stuber back at the station. Hobbs up 14-0 off the scoring of a 2-yard run for Kennedy and a pick 6 by Mora on the defensive side. So that's where the 14 points come from. Been 3 possessions so far for Oregon Mountain. Nothing happening very well for them at this point. Hobbs Eagle football on a 4th down and 9, though, at the Oregon Mountain 41 on the right hash. Receiver left and right. Callaway at the shotgun. Lets it fly on the near right sideline over the shoulder. Almost intercepted a backpedal attempt there in front of the receiver. And now slapping his helmet. Almost had a pick from the Eagles that time. And a good effort to try to get up underneath the football to make the pickoff. And, boy, they're slapping his helmet like he just won the gold medal or something. But trying to find out who that CB is down there. He got into a big huddle on the sideline once he made that INT. Or attempted an INT, I should say. Good job of getting back that time. I believe it looked like a number 10 there on the sideline. That's Levi Goodman. And that will be a turnover on downs, though, for the Eagles for the first time in this ball game. But they still have Oregon Mountain on their side of the field at the 41 on the left hash. 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Well, you know what they say. Big victories start with small victories. And for the team that hasn't had a whole lot of victories, they got to celebrate when they can. But they're going to go ahead and take a timeout as well.
We'll keep it right here. That's their timeout for the offense, so they're trying to get enough personnel. They had a guy on the sideline, one of their linemen, was at the water bucket, and he got called onto the field, and not a happy camping staff there for the coaching staff there for Oregon Mountain as they're one of their last players to get on the field, and they had to call a timeout to get him out there. So one last game this season coming up next week. It'll be a home matchup with Carlsbad at Watson Stadium. That's a pivotal game too, Ron. You pick up the win here, you get the 2 wins in district, plus the possibility of a 3rd win, evens up your record of 3-3.
Right.
And, of course, currently ranked number 9 in the Max Preps poll. We talked about this in the pregame show. The Eagles have a better strength of schedule than all 8 teams in the top 10. Cleveland has the best at plus 20. But the Eagles at 8, they're doing a great job with their strength of schedule. I mean, they played a lot of teams, Rio Rancho that they beat. They played Las Cruces. They played Centennial. They played Artesia and Lovington. Now, these are teams, some of them from different divisions, but some of the top teams in the state. Now, they didn't get wins against those 4 teams, but strength of schedule is the key indicator there. Quick start of the screen route, and a ball bobbled by a man out of the backfield for Oregon Mountain at the 40-yard line coming back after the timeout.
And that may have been a loss anyway. He caught it behind the line of scrimmage.
So incomplete as the ball was chucked out there hard by Tarango and through the outstretched hands of E.J. Guerra. He's one of their backfield guys. And that's incomplete. 1 for 2 in the passing game for 3 yards. Now back at the 41 with the 2nd down and 10. They do have that kind of in and out situation for the quarterback. They have him run to the sideline to get the play, Tarango. And so he's got to be in good shape to do that for his coaching staff. Twins right, 2 receivers left as well. Triangle back in the shotgun. On the left hash, has Guerra behind him. Guerra with a fake counter, and then a duck down for the quarterback. He's got a wall, and that's the Hobbs Eagle defensive strike coming in behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a loss of 2. Tarango did not have any breathing room that time. And the Eagles are actually underneath the quarterback and on top of him as well. A little pancake action going on there. And it looks like the man that could put the big muscle on top of him for the Hobbs Eagles. Trying to see who comes out of the pile.
Kenyon Johnson, Tristan Davis, those were the two.
Yeah, Oliver Hill was the base floor of that whole entourage that helped out on that one.
Yeah, and they were all in there. You knew as soon as he tried to run forward that Hobbs had him, and they definitely sacked him for a loss.
That's his 3rd loss of the ball game. That one for 2. 3rd down and 12 from the 38. Rolling right, Tarango stops and throws it to the middle of the field. It was up for grabs at the 45.
Flag is down.
Yeah, I hope they didn't get a late hit in the backfield. It looks like a Hobbs Eagle trying to peel himself off the field turf there, coming up limping too. Waiting to see what the Whitecap has on that one. That was just a let-loose throw to get rid of the sack. Yep, it's going to be a late hit on the quarterback, roughing the passer. So that's going to be a 15-yard penalty as the Eagles kind of bailing him out that time. The pass was nowhere close to being caught up the field. Just kind of chucked it to the middle about 10 yards up. And that's going to be a 15-yarder against the Eagles.
And a first down looks like as well. Yeah, I thought at first it was going to be a holding against the Knights, but turns out it was just a roughing the passer call.
Yeah, called against Kenyon Johnson, unfortunately. 15-yard penalty. That will be the 2nd for the Eagles, 25 total yards at this point. And will be a first down for Oregon Mountain. They'll have it at the Eagle 44-yard line. Shotgun, Tarango, 4-step drop. He wants to throw the quick out route to the right side, but that might not even get to the line of scrimmage. Good coverage by the Eagles. Nope. Stepping up quickly.
And you're right. It lost a yard.
Coming up with the snag for Oregon Mountain, pulling it down very hard, getting the fingertips around the football was Levi Goodman. But he was wrapped up quickly in a hard shot taken for the Eagles by Jacob Diaz.
But it's notable that the Knights are in territory, the Hobbs territory, for the first time in this game.
So Goodman, and that's thanks to a penalty, though.
Yes.
A 15-yard variety.
Well, however you get there, that's all that really matters.
-1 for Goodman. 2nd down and 11 now for the Eagle 45. Triangle back in shotgun. Fakes the handoff, throws the screen pass to the left side, and luckily it was thrown ahead, at least for the Knights, because he lost the football and straight ahead of him, slams his own helmet, the receiver out there. If that would have been behind the line of scrimmage, that would have been a fumble, and should have been caught. Hearing some footsteps a little bit there was Ezekiel Weir, the tight end, but he's actually lined up as a receiver on the left side that time. Make that Oregon Mountain 2 for 4 in the passing game for 2 yards, so not effective at all in the air at this point. And a 3rd down and 11 from the Hobbs Eagle 45. They definitely want to get on the scoreboard as Hobbs leads 14-0 with 9:54 left, 2nd quarter.
Yeah, it's not going as fast as it did last year, but that pass, you're right. It was either off target or the receiver was out of position, but either way, was not even close to getting that reception.
They've only got 4 yards of total offense so far. Shotgun back to Triangle. He's chasing the backfield, tries to throw it off his back leg, somehow caught at the line of scrimmage, original line of scrimmage, and advanced forward for a couple yards on the play. Big snag getting up high in the air for the alley-oop, it looked like. Levi Goodman, that's the guy that caught at the line a second ago, actually got dropped for a loss. But this time is going to pick up, looks like 4 yards. So Goodman, 2 catches for 3 total. And now 3 for 5 in the passing game for Tarango. But, boy, you had about 4 guys for the Hobbs Eagle defense right through the gap. Offensive line is not getting stout for Oregon Mountain.
Yeah, and normal times when Oregon Mountain is seeing that kind of rush on their quarterback, they do a bad thing. But they did get the completion. They just didn't make any yardage. Got 2 at the most, so it's 4th and 8.
Yeah, they got to thank Goodman for getting off his flat feet that time, getting high in the air. 4th down and 8 from the 42. Back to pass, Tarango, flushed out of the pocket, jumps and throws the ball down to the 30. That will be a first down pickup, and then some. Looks like about 14, 15 yards on the completion of the far right sideline, little out route. And that will be the reception complete to Goodman, so they're starting to go to him quite a bit now. He's got 3 catches for 18 yards, that one for 15. Now 4 for 6 in the passing game, and the 3rd first down for Organ Mountain. Starting to see a little success with the Goodman connection there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're keying on Goodman right now, and it's working, and they're moving down the field right now, and they've got a first down.
Ball be at the 26 of the Eagles on the right hash. Twins left, 2 receivers right. Shotgun loaded Tarango, 2-step drop. He wants to fire to the left side. A spiral over the shoulder near the goal line. A back pedal and it looks like an interception for the Eagles. That will be an automatic touchback. Backpedaling INT. The ball going high in the air with a spiral, trying to go over the shoulder there. But it's going to get picked off for the Eagles. I don't think there's any flags on the field, are there?
Not that I see, although they are coming back. It was a hold against the Eagles, so that all goes for naught.
The pickoff for Hobbs regardless by Javen Hernandez. And if it's a defensive holding, you can't get the ball back if you do something what they call dirty hands in football lingo there. You do something that gets you a chance for a pickoff or a fumble recovery. They don't give you that option to have the ball back, or keep the ball, I should say. So that's going to erase the INT and the 10-yard penalty. It's not NFL. You don't get 5 yards. It is 10 still in high school football, and that just completely erases the interception. A nice job, though, of backpedaling to pick off that ball, though, for the Hobbs Eagles.
And now the Knights have it at the 14-yard line, 1st and 10 as well, and they are threatening in the red zone.
That'll be the 4th first down, 3 penalties for 35 yards. Shotgun to Tarango. He's going to throw it to the left flat. A screen pass high in the air to make the catch at the 15-10 and down at the 9-yard line. So that's going to be close to the first down, about 9 on the catch there and the catch and run. And that's going to be a reception for Organ Mountain for Xavier Perez. Actually going to say he went down a little bit sooner. Looks like making a 6-yard pickup for Perez.
Diaz Castro was the one that actually saved that from being a touchdown for the Hobbs Eagles.
They're now 5 of 7 in the passing game. Wow. Perez, 2 catches for 9. We're going to erase that now. There's a penalty against Organ Mountain as they'll back this up 10 yards.
So we're starting to see more of the yellow come out, and that's not a good sign for either team.
Looks like they called a holding penalty on that one, so no catch. Take care of that one, erase it from the books.
Yep. It's still first down.
Replay it. Backed up to the 25 now. That'll be a first down and 25, or make it 20. Back to pass, rolling right triangle. Tries to throw it down the middle on a slant route, a low one. Looks like they dig it out of the ground at the 15. Not much of a gain on that one. They do pick up some of that penalty yards, though.
It looks like they get the 10 back, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
See who we got on the reception there. So, yeah, just exactly back. No, a little bit less than that 9. 1 yard shy of the original first on the first marker there. Double check to see who that number was. I believe the reception for Organ Mountain by Ezekiel Weir. So they're going to give him 9 on that one. That'll be the 5th reception on 7 attempts. Weir has his first catch for 9. 2nd down and 11. Tarango with the pump fake. Wants to throw it left corner of the end zone. Another chance for an INT, but this is ripped away by the wide receiver from the defender for the Hobbs Eagles to save an interception. And boy, that was the same situation, kind of a lofted throw to that left corner of the end zone. Carlos Jimenez looked like he was high jumping, going over his back over the bar to try to pull it down, but the receiver kind of ripped on him. Could have got an offensive pass interference there, if you want to get technical, because he had a chance to pull the football down. He gets ripped from behind, is getting a piece of his back that time. The wide receiver for Organ Mountain, Levi Goodman. So incomplete regardless. Good breakup there for the Hobbs Eagle D. It's a 3rd and 11 from the 16. Try and go back to pass. Another pump fake. Throws the out route to the right sideline, but it's low on the ground. Slides at the 10, incomplete. Receiver tried to get out the shovel that time, but could not come down with it on that right sideline. It was intended in the ground by E.J. Guerra, incomplete. And now they are 5 of 8 in the passing game. They're going to try a field goal. The ball will be placed at the 22-yard line, so a 32-yard field goal attempt for the Knights to try to get their first points of the ball game. They trail 14-0 to the Eagles. 7:10 left here in the second. Low snap, and a big foot underneath that, and an end-over-end field goal is good. So that will be a 32-yarder. As putting it through the uprights for Organ Mountain was Nathaniel Chavez. You got to remember, they've had 2 games in district where they were shut out 42-0, so it looks like they're pretty happy about getting that 32-yard field goal. 7:06 remaining, second quarter. It's Hobbs 14, Organ Mountain 3. We're coming back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagles still lead 14-3 after a 32-yard field goal for Oregon Mountain's Nathaniel Chavez. Hobbs had 2 scores in the first quarter. Kennedy for a 2-yard run for a touchdown, and a pick 6 for Adrian Mora, the defender for the Eagles. 14-0 at that point. First points of the second quarter again for Oregon Mountain on the field goal. 14-3, Hobbs up by 11. This is next to last game for district. Hobbs will be at home to wrap it up against Carlsbad next week, and more importantly, probably a good shot at a playoff game. We'll talk about that later, but let's get the kickoff now for Oregon Mountain. Little jog up to the 40, and here comes the kick, sidewinder. It's going to bounce at the 2-yard line. The Eagles got the heck out of the way that time, ducking away from that ball as it rolls into the end zone for the automatic touchback. And, of course, in high school football, once it crosses that plane of the goal line, it is automatic touchback time. No chance for return after that one. Even if you muff it, you get a piece of it as you try to go up with it, and it knocks backward and rolls into the end zone. Could be considered a touchback as well. Hobbs football, middle of the field. They'll have it at the 20. They lead 14-3. Quickly, Eagles on this line of scrimmage. 4 receivers with a double stack on the right side, 1 to the left. And that's going to put in the backfield by himself Callaway. He turns and fires a screen to the right side, but they're going to stop this procedure call here. Didn't like what they were seeing in the lineup for the Hobbs Eagles for some reason. Let's see what they got. False start. They must have seen some movement, maybe in one of those receivers in the 4 quad there. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. So Hobbs with 4 penalties so far for a total of 40 yards, and that'll back him up half the distance to the 15. So actually that's just going to be the 5 anyway.
Right. And, yeah, one of those penalties actually cost him an interception just moments ago from Mora.
First down and 15 now from the 15-yard line. It wasn't half the distance because it was only a 5-yard penalty. I misspoke there. Receiver comes in motion left to right. Fake the handoff to him. Give the ball instead around the left end. Stretching it out to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and down to the 44-yard line will be a first down pickup, 25 yards for the Hobbs Eagles. And that, I believe, is Kennedy on that one.
Yes.
So Kennedy getting some burst of speed going on there for 25 yards. That'll move the chains for the Eagles. Kennedy has a total of 5 carries so far and 35 yards. Second first down for the Eagles. They'll get up quickly on the line again to the 44, still on their side of the football field. Twins left, receiver right. Split formation backfield. Kennedy gets it angling left to the hash and puts his head down hard as he uses the strength to get across the line of scrimmage. 3-yard pickup that time. So that'll be another carry for him. As he was the starter in this ball game, we're trying to find out what the status of Armendariz is tonight, but he has not stepped into the game as of yet. Second down and 6 for the Eagles at the 47. Back to pass. Here goes the shot down the far left side over the shoulder, cut at the 20 in stride and pulled down at the 10-yard line. Big time pickup on that one, all the way to the 10.
Looked like that was Hawkes. Yes.
Yes, that's Hawkes getting the big catch on that one as they start at the 45 and continue down the field. They're going to mark it at the 10. So a 45-yard play for Hawkes. That's his second catch, 49 yards. Eagles are now 3 of 5 in the passing game off the throw from Callaway. That'll be a third first down for the Eagles. Knocking at the door, they cannot get another first down. Split formation backfield in between his receivers or running backs is Callaway. Delay handoff around the right end, breaking a tackle and then spun down by the defenders at the 5 is Kennedy, and he picks up a 5 for the Eagles. He's got 7 carries now for 43 yards, and they got it down actually to the, looks like they're putting it at the 3-yard line, so more like 7 on that carry with the forward progress.
Yes.
Knocking at the door of the Eagles, trying to add on to a 14-3 lead here in the second. Twins left, receiver right, split formation backfield, low snap to Callaway, handoff around the right end, extending to the right side of the goal line, diving forward. Are we going to get the score? Yes, they do. Touchdown, Eagles.
Stiff arm all the way for that one, and fought for those final 2 yards, was able to break the plane for a Hobbs Eagle touchdown.
So the Eagles get into the end zone for the score, and I believe that was Henry, the ball carrier that time for the Eagles. Rambling into the end zone from 3 yards out, coming around the end. Now, he's kind of straight upright that time, but used his blockers well and able to get over that right side of the line of scrimmage. Waiting for the PAT. The kick is up, and it gets blocked, and it'll take a drop in the end zone. No good on the PAT. But Hobbs up by 17, 20-3. 5:28 left, second quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, and on the radio at Cool 95.7. Hobbs Eagles have extended their lead to 17, up 20-3, as they're getting a 3-yard touchdown run with 5:28 remaining here in the second. So Hobbs will be kicking off here momentarily. We'll get you some score updates here, some Hobbs Eagle or Lee County teams in action tonight. Eunice has got a game against Texaco. Also Tatum and Jal facing some opponents tonight as well. Of course, Lovington getting a win earlier tonight against Academy in their second district win in a row, 2-0 record for the Wildcats. Had an early 3 o'clock start on that one. Here comes the kickoff. A high one, end over end, going to head towards the far right sideline. It takes a roll for the Eagles on a sliding coverage of the ball at the 22. That will be Eagle football. Nobody even touched that one. Caught sleeping was Oregon Mountain, and the Eagles with the recovery. Now, you're not allowed to extend it with the run after that, but he slid on the ground anyway. It doesn't matter. He was already down.
Yeah, and just like that, we've had a defensive play that was good. Now we've had special teams that have also come up with a turnover.
Again, he ran off the field so quickly. I'm trying to track his number on the sideline. Again, look at these lemon numbers. Not very easy to pick up here, but get some high fives from teammates. We'll double check on that name. Eagles are going to go with the pass on the into the end zone at the goal line, waiting for the ball and making the catch inside the right pylon. Just a heave-ho from Callaway, a 20-yard touchdown reception. And the Eagles quickly back on the scoreboard. Great hands waiting for the football that time at the right goal line by Deshaun Franklin.
Exactly, and it was a little quicker than I expected it as well. But one play, one score, and Hobbs once again, with just minutes from the last time they scored, are back on the PAT once again.
Both catches for Franklin, double digits, 46 yards to start, and a 20-yard touchdown reception on that second one. And here comes another PAT attempt. It's up, and it is good. So the Hobbs Eagles nail another one through, 27-3, up by 24 with 5:20 left, second quarter. We're back live with the Hobbs Eagle Network in 30 seconds. Welcome back live to the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. Your Hobbs Eagles up by 24, 27-3, a 20-yard pass from Callaway to Franklin. Last recovery of that onside kick that sailed deep for Hobbs was Gustavo Diaz-Castro, and he's ready to get another one of those for that turnover for Oregon Mountain, who never even touched the football. Hobbs just had it floated down there towards the 20 and able to recover on a slide by Gustavo Diaz-Castro. Here comes another kickoff in about the same area, end over end. This time it's going to be short at the 35 and caught on the run. Looks like a fair catch in stride.
Right.
And that will be for Oregon Mountain. Are they going to bring this back for some reason?
May have been offsides, looks like, from what the procedure is, but we'll find out here in a second.
Yeah, the white cap won't be signaling this. It'll be one of the line judges here. We're going to wait to see. Yeah, false start. Eagles, somebody had gone across the line before the kick was converted there. So a 5-yard penalty for the Eagles on that one. That will be their 5th penalty of the ball game for 45 yards, and it'll back them up to the 35-yard line. So Hobbs definitely is eager to get that ball back again to add on to the 24-point lead with 5:20 remaining here in the second.
Definitely. They get more points, and they could go into the halftime with a 35 mercy rule, score.
Kickoff coming from the ninth grader Jaden Taylor. End over end, caught at the 28 for Oregon Mountain on the near sideline, then spun around and thrown down at the 36 out of bounds. Some great coverage there for the Hobbs Eagles and getting a slap-down session there for Hobbs on the coverage. A great job for the Eagles. And again, we've got a lot of number changes in this game. 84 is what they got listed, and we don't have an 84 on the roster. That's about the third guy we've seen. So maybe bringing some JV guys up in this ball game, and we'll try to double-check on some of these as best we can. Yep, don't have that number on any of our rosters this season.
Well, JV is having a week off, so that's a possibility they could be here as well.
Ball's at the 36-yard line, a 1st and 10 from the left hash for Oregon Mountain. Hobbs has 5 in the box, shotgun, back to pass. Throw to the right side. It's picked up for the Eagles at the 35 and thrown forward to the 33. Hobbs with another turnover in the ball game.
Wow, that was a quick, just got in the he looked like he was a receiver there as he was able to pick that off and gain a couple yards on that pass.
So Hobbs is tasting a big lead here in this ball game.
As well as all these turnovers they're loving to get.
Try to get you a number on that one, too. Sorry about that. Still trying to track these numbers the best we can. We got a penalty in the backfield, as it looks like why are they giving the ball back to Oregon Mountain? I'm not sure what the call was prior to that, but they're giving the ball back to Oregon Mountain, aren't they?
No, because the sticks still going for Hobbs.
Yeah, they did turn it, but there's a penalty in the defensive backfield, I guess.
Right. There may be they're having somebody come out now. They may have too many people on the field, or it could be just a legal substitution. Either way, they are going to go ahead and count off about 5, looks like.
Legal substitution. You got it right, Ron. You better go to Vegas now.
Yeah,
that's going to be 4 penalties, 25 yards for Oregon Mountain after the interception. And that'll place it at the 27-yard line. Man in motion, left to right, twins left and right. High snap, taken around the right end by Callaway, 30, stretching it out, 25, puts his head down, takes on 2 more defenders. He's close to the first down to the 20.
Oh, no, he's past
Yeah,
it.
he got the forward progress on that one. So they're going to give him 12 as he fell forward to the 20-yard line. So Callaway with his first run, this pretty much quarterback going around the right end and keeping the blockers and the receivers out ahead of him.
That'd be 7, actually, because we had 1st and 5. So 7 yards,
right.
But still, that was a very nice run, and he was very strong on the attempt.
So that'll move the chains for the Eagles. 4th first down. They're going to have the delay handoff up the middle and handling right now across the 15. There'll be another 5 pickup, maybe 6.
Yeah, they got him back, though. Looks like it's going to be about just 5 as it doesn't be marked there, even though he didn't seem to get forward progress, but I guess his knee went down.
That's our infamous number 10 tonight. He had a 3-yard run for a touchdown earlier, so they do give 5 to him. Brings up a 2nd down and 5 from the 15. Back to pass Callaway, pump fake, steps up pocket, rolls left, and is going to get dropped. Falls forward, though, so he might have got at least a yard or maybe 2 as Oregon Mountain closed the pocket pretty quickly. And they had some guys jamming that inside as coming in the lineman for Oregon Mountain, Jeremy Rosas. But he does fall forward for a yard there for Callaway, so 2 carries for 8 yards total for him. I don't think he was trying to run that football, but he kind of got shoved forward, and that's where he dropped, about the 15.
Looked like it was going to be a pass, but just could not get it out.
3rd down and about 3.5 for the Eagles at the 14-yard line. Quick screen over the left side. It's caught at the line of scrimmage, brought up on the left side, and backpedaling to the 5 for the first down. 8-yard pickup on that far left sideline.
Yes, indeed. That was a very
Justin
nice.
Black.
Yeah, it was a very nice pickup. Got spun around and ended up running backwards, like you said, to pick up a few more yards, and now it is 1st and goal.
Eagles 5 of 7 in the passing game off the arm of Callaway. 5th first down of the contest as they'll mark it at the 3-yard line. 3:16 remaining here in the second. Hobbs up by 24 at 27-3. Receiver left and right. Split formation backfield, but they're going to send those 2 running backs to the right side who run into each other and then split and go one to the left, one to the right. So twins left and right. Shotgun to Callaway by himself. He'll throw the out route to the right goal line and in for the touchdown.
Yes, indeed. And that was right at the line and was able to catch it and just scamper in.
Hawkes with a 3-yard touchdown grab. That's his 3rd catch of the ball game. He's got 3 catches now for 52 yards and his first touchdown. And again, we mentioned last year, as an underclassman, had 4 catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Eagles' 48-6 win at Watson Stadium. Right now they're up by 30, and we haven't even made it to halftime yet. Waiting the PAT. Beatty gets the snap down for him, and the kick is up, and it is good. So the Hobbs Eagles tack on another one. 34-3 your score with 2:58 remaining here in the second. Hobbs leading Organ Mountain live on the Hobbs Eagle Network back in 30 seconds. $34-3 your score here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner with you live as Hobbs up by 31, trying to get their 2-3 record in district. Hobbs coming in at 3-5 overall. Organ Mountain at 0-8 and 0-3 at this point in the district.
Yeah, 3 minutes, and Hobbs has already scored 3 times.
And waiting for the kickoff now from Jaden Taylor. And here it comes, and he's going to keep it to that far left sideline. Once again, it is going to take a bounce in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. It'll go out of bounds. That will be a penalty, but they'll get it at the 35 if they want to take it there, or they might elect to have a re-kick and a 5-yard penalty first, but it's so close, they're going to just go with the 35. That's where Organ Mountain will start again. Of course, they did get a 32-yard field goal earlier in this quarter, so they're trying to build on that, but right now down by 31. That's just 4 points away from mercy rule timing, Ron.
Exactly, and yeah, I think the reason why they didn't go for the re-kick is because the last time they went for a re-kick, it didn't go their favor. So they're going to go ahead and take the ball when they can to be able to get it down the field and see if they can get avoid any kind of mercy ruling going on in the second half.
So with the penalty, that's a 2-yard net gain. They add it to the 35, and the ball did stop at the 33 as it rolled out of bounds. 1st and 10 for Tarango and his Organ Mountain Knights. Twins left, receiver right. Delay handoff up the middle and just puts his head down right into a pile. Might have got to the line of scrimmage. I doubt they're going to get him forward progress on that one.
No, looks like they are not.
Neal just got down low on him that time. And again, that's the same ball carrier, Guerra. No gain on the play for Guerra. He's carried 6 times so far for 5 yards total. And the ball back at the 35. Eagles getting a good pressure from that front line. They just kind of piled up in front and pulled him down from the left side of the defensive line.
No rush from the Knights, so they're letting the clock run. 2:24 right now in the first half.
2nd down and 10 from the 35. Shotgun low to Tarango. Fakes the handoff, rolls right, puts his head down, and gets near the right hash. Gets some forward progress, maybe a yard or two.
2 at the most.
Bunch of guys getting down low against him that time.
And definitely Hobbs able to go to the left to be able to stop that run and stop any kind of chance of him getting anywhere close to a 3rd and short.
And on the roster, not on the roster I should say, number 90 with making the tackle for the Hobbs Eagles that time. And so I'm not sure, a lot of number changes in this ballgame for Hobbs. It'll be a 3rd down and 8 now from the 37-yard line. Low snap again, 3-step drop. Tarango's got to unload it before he gets sacked. Throws it a post route down the middle to the 50. Overthrows his receiver, though. As the ball bounces out to the 40 into Hobbs Eagle territory. Incomplete. Hard shot there as Tarango had a chase in the backfield. It just had to unload it.
And that looked like it was covered well by Hobbs. In fact, that was Hawkees who did that one.
The intended receiver for Organ Mountain that time, Levi Goodman, he's got up a few times high in the air.
And he's had to in the last several plays, so he's either getting used to it or just didn't quite time it that right.
So that's going to be a 4th down and 8 now for Organ Mountain at their own 37-yard line. They trail 34-3 with 1:28 remaining. Don't want to give the Eagles this much time to have another series of plays either to add to their lead. High punt, going back deep. Eagles with a fair catch call, and boy, a low catch here at the 25, but coming up with it regardless. That's Hawkes who comes up with that fair catch at the 25, and he gets right up in traffic. He's not scared to get right in the face of the coverage team and put those hands in harm's way to pull that ball down. So the Eagles will have the football, probably the last possession of the half, 1:21 left, and a 31-point lead. Trips right, receiver left side for the Eagles. Callaway back in shotgun. He's got one man back with him, and for most of this game it's been Kennedy. Throws a quick out route, caught at the 32, and drug out of bounds after a 7-8 yard pickup on that far left sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench.
Hobbs still playing like they're, this is still a game, and definitely getting some yards on that one.
Could have sworn that was 23 out there. Saul Armendariz of the double check, an 8 yard pickup. Back to throw Callaway. Down the middle, the seam route, over the shoulder, and through the fingertips of the intended receiver, down around the 20-yard line on the far or near sideline here. That was Hawkes, yes. About 5 yards ahead of his double-team defenders that time. And just wait for the football. Just a bit overthrown. He bounced off the end of his fingertips.
Which is unfortunate, because if it would have hit him, it would have hit him in stride. And it would have been a nice touchdown, about 68 yards.
Still trying to track who that receiver was on the previous catch for 8 yards. Still having trouble getting that second number with these lemon numbers. Boy. Trips right, receiver left. Sorry about that, folks. I know in the next year or two, all teams in the 6A and the rest of the state will have to have outline numbers with contrasting uniforms. So, that's been kind of tough this year to track these for you. Handoff up the middle, and that's going to be Amarian Kennedy. He needed just to get 2 to about the 35. It looks like he's going to get to the 38.
And definitely going to move the sticks.
5 yards for Kennedy. He will move the chains, as you mentioned, Ron. 6 first downs now for the Hobbs Eagles. And he's got a total of 50 yards. Back to pass, and here we go. A long shot to the left sideline to the 20. Catch made. 15, a spiral fade route. And that will be a first down pickup for the Eagles and then some.
Yeah, time running, 49 seconds, and they're stop the clock for the chains.
That's going to be about a 43-yard reception. First down from the 11-yard line, and a shotgun again. Twins left and right, back to pass again for this time airing it to the right side of the end zone, and it's going to be overthrown out of bounds. That's Hobbs with the hurry-up offense, keeping the announcers not getting a chance to catch their breath on these plays like myself. And that time, Hawkes was the man intended for, but the ball goes past him to the right sideline of the end zone. Incomplete.
Exactly. They are eager and willing to get another score. 43 seconds left for the end of the half, and looks like there's going to be – I thought there was going to be a little conference, but no, they're just getting the ball set for the Hobbs Eagles at the 11.
So second down and 10 from the 11. They can get a first at the 1. Clock at 43 seconds left here in the second quarter. Hobbs up 34-3. Back in shotgun goes Callaway. Trends right, receiver left. Takes a snap good with the handoff up the middle. Driving hard to the 5, and that will be about a 6-yard pickup. Kennedy again. He continues to be the go-to man. A 6-yarder for Kennedy. And that'll be a third down and 3 now for the Eagles at the 5-yard line. Make it 4 they need for the first down at the 1. Twins left and right, back to pass. They want the slant route right to the left side of the end zone, but the ball knocked out of Hawkes' hands. Good defense by Oregon Mountain. Looks like the linebacker taking a swat at it at that time to knock it out of his hands.
But there's about 17 seconds to go. And fourth down and, 4 to make for Hobbs. They still can make first down without making a touchdown, but with this short of time, they got to do it quick.
Christian Manuel, the free safety, the guy that got the swat on the ball that time. Fourth down and 4, as you mentioned. Waiting for shotgun is Callaway. Pull out of it and look to the sideline. Coach Stevens wants to change it up a little bit, calls a timeout. 34-3, your Eagles up by 31. 17 seconds left here in the second. Time out on the field. We'll take a 30-second break and back live with Hobbs Eagle football. After a Hobbs Eagle timeout, they've got a 4th down and 4 to go. Got to get to the 1 with 17 seconds left as they're trying to punch in another score up by 31. Oh, they're going to go with the field goal attempt here. It'll be marked at the 12-yard line, so a 22-yard field goal attempt for Beatty. And he's ready to go here. You could almost guess possibility of a fake here. We'll have to wait and see. Good snap. It's down. The kick is up. He is going to kick it through the uprights and count it for 22 yards. So Beatty puts through the field goal and extends the lead to 34. 37-3, your Eagles up with 13 seconds left here in the first half. We're back live with more Hobbs Eagle football on the radio at Cool 95.7, on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Your Hobbs Eagles lead 37-3 here in the second quarter after a 22-yard field goal for Beatty. And we're ready for another kickoff here as the Hobbs Eagles continue to run the table here in Las Cruces at the Field of Dreams. Jaden Taylor to kick off for the Eagles. They've done so quite a bit tonight. Hobbs scoring 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and 4 scores here in the second. One of those a field goal. Kick to the 21, brought up the near sideline to the 30, and now to the 35. Then the Eagles swarm on top, and that will be the last possession attempt here for Organ Mountain as they will get it there at the 35. The return man for the Knights that time, bringing up the left sideline, was Xavier Perez. 8 seconds left in the half, and I think Organ Mountain will get maybe one more play out of this if they decide to try to heave-ho or do something. Their passing game has not been very dominating at this point. They've had a total of 4 receptions, but only 22 yards in pass reception so far. 1st and 10 from their own 35 on the left hash. 8 seconds left in the half, and your Eagles up 37-3.
And the Eagles are having a spread defense. They're going back to prevent any kind of long ball.
They got one receiver left, one right for the Knights. Shotgun. They're going to go with the handoff up the middle, 35-40, and that will be probably the last play. The clock running to 3 seconds left. And that's pretty much going to run out the half as they're going to give them 6 yards, and that is it for the offense for Organ Mountain.
Yep, Tristan Davis on the stop on that one.
Yep, that was another run by the running back Guerra. So Guerra gets 6, and that will end the first half of action. Eagles in a rout so far, 37-3 over Organ Mountain here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the halftime show. You're listening live to the Hobbs Eagle Network. Stay with us. We're back live here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you, and Evie Stuber back at the station as your Hobbs Eagles with a big lead at halftime, 37-3 over Organ Mountain. Hobbs working on their second district win in a row after a big win last week at Watson Stadium over Alamogordo. So far, not much offense going on for Organ Mountain, only getting 10 yards in rushing so far. Guerra leading with 7 carries for 11 yards, and the quarterback, Tarango, 7 carries for -1. Those are the only 2 guys that have touched the football in the running game so far for Organ Mountain. Very one-dimensional in terms of their running contest so far. Passing game, they are 5 of 9 at this point. And their best receiver is Goodman. He has 3 catches for 18 yards, including a 15-yarder. Ware has caught 1 for 9, and Perez 1 for 3. So their total is 30 yards in pass receptions, 40 total yards of offense in the first half, 14 rushes, and again, 9 pass attempts for the game halftime as well. They've had 3 penalties so far in this contest for 25 yards, 2 punts at this point as well, and 4 first downs. They did convert on a field goal in the ball game. That was in the second quarter, a 32-yard field goal for Nathaniel Chavez, and that was their only score early in the second. Take a look at your Hobbs Eagles on the other side of the coin. They've managed 72 yards on the ground so far. The leader at this point is Kennedy, Amarian Kennedy, 9 carries for 56 yards. He had a 25-yard run plus a 2-yarder for a touchdown. So he's the starter in the backfield. We don't have an update on Saul Armendariz. Hopefully we'll try to find out something here as the game progresses. Callaway, the quarterback, 1 carry, or actually make that 2 carries for 8 yards so far in the first half. And then, of course, also getting some action in the backfield, Gabriel Henry. He had 2 carries for 8 yards, including a 3-yard touchdown run. So they've had 3 different backs with the ball in this first half, and again, 72 yards on the ground for the Hobbs Eagles. In the passing department, Hawkes has been the go-to guy at this point. 4 catches for 95 yards. He had a 45-yarder, a 43-yarder, and a 3-yard catch for a touchdown. So big numbers for him at this point. Franklin has had 2 catches for 66 yards, both of those for double digits, 46 and 20. And also it was Justin Black had a catch for 8 yards in the first half as well. So they've had 3 different receivers come up with snags for the Eagles, a total of 161 yards so far in the air. That's 233 total for the Hobbs Eagle offense, again compared to 40 for Organ Mountain. Eagles with 5 penalties for 45 yards in the first half. And right now, Ron, Eagles have not had a turnover, which is very important at this point.
Definitely.
They've had a pickoff, they've had a turnover on downs, and a couple other things going on, a recovery in terms of the football on a kickoff. So definitely some good stuff. We should mention, too, I believe it was Peyton Davis that was in on a big play on special teams earlier in this game, and he is just a sophomore. So that's what you like to see. They had that onside kick that really kind of sailed down the sideline, and they cover it. No touch by Organ Mountain, which is a major sin for a return team. Got to get to the football. It's not like a punt, which you can let it roll down the field, and then the coverage team would tap it dead, and you get the ball back. I mean, you got to cover it. So Hobbs did a good job of getting on top of that one. But so far, complete domination. They did have one drive, though, for Organ Mountain where they got into field goal range and booted that 32-yarder, and that was a good sustained drive.
Right. They
got 4 first downs out of that. But other than that, Hobbs is shutting down their running game especially. Guerra, pretty much the only guy that gets handoffs out there, and then Tarango a few times will take it himself, fake the handoff to the quarterback, fake the handoff to Guerra, and then take it himself around the end or whatever. But not really making the Eagles have to really think about it too much defensively to get the coverage up front.
Yeah, in the second half, they're going to be able to do a lot more than just play football. They can check things out, see who's coming up. I think we actually have that situation going on where some JV players, we weren't aware of this, but they were going to be playing this game. We knew it wouldn't be close because Organ Mountain has had some struggles. But, there was a interception in the end zone for the Hobbs Eagles. It was for Mora. That was called back because of a penalty. Another nice run by the Eagles. But they've only had 2 mistakes that I've seen so far, maybe 3 at the most. But they have been really good on their defense. The special teams has stepped up as well. And they have made sure that they definitely get a good standing for the next game and also the playoffs as well.
Actually, Adrian Mora got the pick 6 that did count. That was the score for the touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah, they had another INT that was called back on a defensive holding penalty. Hobbs picking off a nice snag in the end zone. That was a Carlos Jimenez that came up with that one, but the ball was given back to the offense, Oregon Mountain, on that play. And then he almost got another interception. There was a big scrummage pile there toward the corner of the end zone, and the receiver came and kind of went over the top and ripped him back. And he probably would have had a pick off on that one too, but no call on that play, so it was an incomplete pass. So Hobbs getting in good positions on the field, definitely stepping up in the passing lanes too. There's been a couple screen passes that were just close to being pickoffs for 6 too. On the line of scrimmage, and some very dangerous throws out there by Tarango on the line of scrimmage for Oregon Mountain. So Hobbs leading by 34 points here at the half. Again, the score 37-3. Again, that's 1 point shy of the mercy rule. So that's definitely something the Eagles probably going to look to. This is a kind of a pretty long road trip for Hobbs. They have to do it twice this season. Of course, they already did one with Centennial a couple of weeks ago. But this is a very important win, hopefully, for the Eagles to get that recorded to the second win for them on the season. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, get you caught up on some of the Lee County scores so far. Lots of teams in action. Of course, Eunice and Jal and Tatum. Lovington won a game earlier this afternoon in Albuquerque. We'll get you caught up on that score as well. And I look forward to next week's game as well against Carlsbad at Watson Stadium. So a 2-minute break, and we're back live at the Hobbs Eagle halftime show on Cool 95.7 on the radio, on the internet, hobbsamerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Back here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces as your Hobbs Eagles lead 37-3 over Oregon Mountain. About 2:08 left in the halftime show here, and they'll have the 3-minute warm-up period. And Ron, several Lee County teams in action. One earlier today, Lovington getting a big win for their second district win in a row, 2-0 on the season.
Yeah, they're both 5-3. Lovington versus Albuquerque Academy. It started off tight at half. It was 13-6 with Lovington in the lead. Lovington blew up in the third quarter, 34 points versus Albuquerque Academy only having 14. And the final score was 47-26. Lovington with that big win to continue their playoff streak, or at least a playoff ability to be able to get into the playoffs and do well.
They're second in the state right now. They were number one, and then they had a bye week, and they dropped them down the poll. Max Preps poll dropped them to number 2. So I think Coach Gonzalez is trying to set up a precedent here that the Wildcats are going to play a tough pre-district schedule like they always do. They already beat Hobbs once and had a big win against Bernalillo last week. So he definitely is making sure they take some notice of the Wildcats, and who knows, they might bump themselves back up to 1 after this game tonight.
In fact, actually this week they were bumped down to 3. I'm not sure exactly why, but yeah, you never know the rankings, but they were definitely ranked at number 3.
Okay, other scores.
Other scores, we've got a shocker in Logan as Tatum is struggling to get any kind of offense going on. 24-6 is what Logan is leading at the half. All these are halftime scores, by the way. Eunice also down, but only by 1 at half to Loving. It's 7-7 in the first and 7-6 in the second, so that makes it 14-13. Loving over Eunice. Texaco also having a little trouble with, Jal also having trouble with Texaco as they are ahead, 14-13 over Jal. That is also at the half. Centennial leading over Alamogordo, which is not a surprise, 28-7 after 14 in the first and 14 in the second. Alamogordo scores one time in the first with 7 points. And it is Artesia who is coming back after this, after the loss last week and only scoring 8 points against Roswell. They're at the half right now, and they're beating up on Goddard big time, 41-0. So that means second half is going to be all mercy rule unless Goddard can get something going. And finally, Roswell also doing well against a Mayfield team, which is 4-4. They're playing in Roswell, and it is now 28-0 at the half as well. So those are all your scores going on so far.
We were talking earlier in this game about the playoff situation. Of course, 12 teams make it in the 6A for the playoffs. Currently, the Max Preps poll has Hobbs at number 9. They've been kind of solid there the last couple of weeks, so that's a good sign. The strength of schedule is the second best in the state in the 6A. That definitely is a definite feather in the cap of Coach Stevens and his squad. So what we're looking at right now is a couple of teams underneath the Eagles at this point, and some of them were kind of a question marks how they might possibly move up. Depending on what the last couple games of the season are going to show here with this game, and then, of course, next week being the final game of the season. But right now, the Eagles are above the couple teams like Alamogordo and Clovis, two teams that they've defeated earlier this season, so that's a good sign. They also have West Mesa, who, question mark. They have a better record than Hobbs at this point, but not really a lot of common opponents to look at, and so that one might be a question mark. But really, the Eagles with that 8+ strength of schedule, second best to Cleveland at 20+ at the top of the chart of the Max Preps poll, gives you a good sign that the Eagles could be in that top 12. Again, with this win tonight, which it looks like it's rolling towards that, you get another district victory there, and then the final game of the season against Carlsbad. Carlsbad's struggling at this point. I mean, they did get the win over Oregon Mountain, but it was a very close ball game for quite a bit of it, and they came up getting the victory. But still, that was the lowest actual winning difference that they've had this season against any team. 19 was the second best that Oregon Mountain's done against somebody. They lost to 17 to Albuquerque High to start the season, but so Carlsbad on shaky ground right now.
Again, like I said, they were here yesterday, and they lost big to Las Cruces Bulldogs. It was 43-14, so that's not going to help them either. And the last game, of course, will be next week at Hobbs versus Hobbs, and that still want to win. Carlsbad will. But Hobbs will be trying to roll into it with a 3-game winning streak and hoping for the best for the playoff positions.
We mentioned Hobbs at number 9. They are one better than Rio Rancho right now. It's number 10. And, of course, Hobbs defeated Rio Rancho, so they wouldn't bump Rio Rancho above them necessarily. But the only thing difference there is Rams have a 6-2 record. Hobbs just 3-5, and then pending this game tonight. But Rio Rancho does not have a strong strength of schedule at -6.9 compared to Hobbs 8.1, which is a definite flip-flop there. So it's going to be kind of a big question mark. Of course, a couple games left of the season and other teams playing as well, so we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. Of course, Cleveland, La Cueva, Centennial, and Volcano Vista 1-4 in the top of the state. And then it's 5 through 8, Sandia, or make it Los Lunas, Sandia, Farmington, and Las Cruces. Hobbs will return the kickoff to start this second half. They lead 37-3 as we continue here on the Hobbs Eagle Network as Oregon Mountain gets ready to kick off from their 40. They have one score in the game, a 32-yard field goal. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles definitely getting a lot of guys involved with their production so far offensively. A roll to the 10-yard line. Eagles going to go with the starburst, kept by the return man to the 15, far sideline 20, 25-30, 35-40, 45-50, into Oregon Mountain territory at the 30, and then beats a tackle to the 20, hurtling over players, 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown. I hope there's no flags on the field. The Eagles with the starburst, as we're going to try to track down who that was. They do the fake handoff off of that one. That was Hawkes, and he got it at about the 10-yard line, so probably around 90 yards on the return. Faked the handoff on the starburst back at about the 12, and scampers into the end zone down that far right sideline, hurdled over a couple of players near the 10 and into the end zone. So we're going to have to check on the official numbers on that one. I would say about maybe an 88-yard return on a kickoff, and the Eagles now have this thing into mercy roll up by 40 here in this third quarter. That means a running clock.
Exactly, and yeah, that was definitely a big play for the Hobbs Eagles to start off this third. We never even thought about the fact that they could run it all the way back, and that's exactly what they did with that starburst. Great job for Hawkes. Sorry.
Now the team really didn't even get into that little scrum huddle on that starburst. Usually you see the team converge on themselves, but that time they kind of spread it out, faked the handoff, and then Hawkes headed to the far right sideline in front of the Hobbs bench. They had to go get the football for the Eagles for the kicking game, so they had to get that back on the field as they had a bad throw back to the referee on the field. It sailed into the end zone, so had to go track that down.
Another bad pass for Knights.
So getting ready for the kick for the PAT to extend this to 44-3 as we wait. Beatty is waiting for the snap. Kick is up, almost gets blocked, and it goes through the uprights. Good attempt there for a block sliding towards the feet of Beatty that time. And that looks like that was number 4 that almost got a piece of it, close to blocking the PAT for Organ Mountain.
Well,
as that was number 4, Nathaniel Chavez. He's actually the kicker for Organ Mountain, is also trying to block the kick of the other team, the Hobbs Eagles.
Well, he knows how it goes.
44-3 the score, up by 41. The clock will continue to run once they get the possession here for Organ Mountain on the kickoff return. They'll keep the clock running on the incomplete passes and every other thing that happens out there except timeouts. And, of course, a 50-point lead, and the game is over here in the second half. Right now, again, at 41, 9 points away from that 50 margin. We've talked about Organ Mountain's troubles so far against district opponents, and they've really had some issues. Again, 2 42-point blowouts, 42-0 at the hands of Las Cruces High and Centennial. They've only averaged 3 points a game against their district opponents and given up 37. Right now, Eagles have got 44 on the scoreboard at this point, so they got more than the average against those other 2 opponents that they played in district. So things looking good for the Hobbs Eagles right now as we wait for their kickoff. This one's going to go sidewinder, caught at the 15 on the right hash, up to the 20. Back to the middle of the 25 and down to the 28-yard line. And that's where Organ Mountain will start their next drive here in the second half of action. As the return man for the Knights was E.J. Guerra, who's been lining up in the backfield in the first half.
Hobbs not even getting an offense in the third quarter so far simply because of that run from Hawkes.
Yeah, Hawkes with the big touchdown scamper. That's his second TD of the ball game, by the way. He had a 3-yard pass reception earlier in the first half. Lots of guys getting involved. Amarian Kennedy had a touchdown in the first quarter. Moore had a pick 6 on defense. Henry a touchdown in the second quarter. Franklin scored. Hawkes scored once. Beatty scored off a field goal. And now Tarango is going to get met in the backfield. The quarterback for Organ Mountain on their first play from scrimmage second half and gets slowed down to the ground big time. Couple of guys in the backfield for the Hobbs Eagles. I believe the first to arrive was Canyon Johnson, the DE, defensive end. 4 times he's put somebody down on the turf tonight. Also coming back in the backfield, too, Oliver Hill, big DT, defensive tackle. Maybe give him a half a tackle on that one. And again, Tarango having to jog to the sideline to get the play calls from his coaching staff. That's a 4-yard loss, by the way, for Tarango. Had no chance to get away from that major pressure from the Hobbs Eagles from the front line. They've got 4 lined up front defensively again for the Eagles. Trips left, receiver right. Tarango fakes the handoff, throws the screen to the left side in the backfield of the 15, 20, angle to the far sideline left, 25, 30, and gets back some of the penalty or make it some of the negative yardage in the backfield we saw earlier. And about a 5-yard pickup there for Organ Mountain.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Reception was made there for Organ Mountain by Xavier Perez. And so he's going to get 5 on the play, as we mentioned. Perez has his second catch for 8 yards total. They're now 6 of 10 in the passing game are the Organ Mountain Knights. 3rd down and 7. Tarango was going to hand it off. It gets met in the backfield. He's not going to go anywhere, but they call it dead. And he'll be lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage, and they're going to say, nope, he's going to lose 3.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he was caught as soon as he realized that he could not hand it off. The Eagles were all over him, swarmed him, and, yeah, he wasn't knocked down, but he was knocked back. And that's definitely a big 4th down, and they can't recover from that. They're going to have to punt.
They had only 10 yards of rushing in the first half and already -7 with Tarango a -4 and a -3. So they will punt, as you mentioned. There's been 2 in the first half. He'll be back at the 10-yard line. A high snap. He has to backpedal for it. Gets rid of it from the 11-yard line. A high one sailing to the 45, still in Oregon Mountain territory. Then takes a roll for the Knights into Hobbs Eagle territory at the 47. That's where it is stopped dead. And Hobbs will have some real good field position. Again, we're in the mercy rule, too, with the clock running here in the third quarter. 8:30 right now, 44-3. Hobbs up by 41. They need 9 more to put this game in the books, as they'll get it at the 48-yard line. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Football on Cool 95.7 on the radio, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and Cool 95.7 Facebook page on the internet.
They got lucky with that roll. It would have been about a 20, 25-yard punt, but with that they got an extra 10 or so, so it made it kind of legit. But it puts Hobbs just near the enemy territory, so they don't have far to go, about 53 yards to get into the end zone.
Marked at the 47 on the left hash. Eagles are quickly set up on offense, which has really been keeping Oregon Mountain huffing and puffing, trying to get set up on defense, trying to figure out what the Eagles are going to do here. So that will be a shotgun for Callaway. Puts a man in motion. Hawkes left to right. Fake the handoff to him. Give it to the tailback. Henry across the 50, 45, 40, and is slung down at the 40-yard line into Oregon Mountain territory. 13-yard pickup for Henry.
And just like that, an easy first down for the Hobbs Eagles as they continue to move the ball down the field during this game.
He's had 3 carries for a total of 22 yards now. That will be a first down pickup, number 8 for the Eagles. 4 first downs for Oregon Mountain, all in the first half. 1st and 10 for Hobbs at the Oregon Mountain 40-yard line on the left hash. Twins right, receiver left. A slot left as well. Shotgun to Callaway. Comeback route at the 40. Cut at the line of scrimmage to the 35 and diving forward for a 5-yard pickup. Taking a little roll there at the end. That'll be a reception for the Eagles. Coming up with it for Hobbs was Isaiah Rodriguez for his first catch for 5 yards.
And they're just giving some quality play time to some of these players just to get that experience they need, just in case they need to step it up.
2nd down and 5 now from the 35 near the right hash into Oregon Mountain territory. Callaway brings a man in motion right to left. Handoff again to Henry. The slow delay around the right end. Spinning, backpedaling now to the 31-yard line. He doesn't come off hard off the line of scrimmage. It kind of stands straight up on that one, but continues to power the legs forward and backs his way close to a first down. They're going to give him just 4. He needed 5 to the 30. So 4 yards for Henry on that one.
He's got a massive presence there, and he can drag him a couple yards like he did just then.
4 carries for 26 now for Henry. Short by about a yard, 3rd and 1 from the 31-yard line of Oregon Mountain on that right hash once again. Twins left, receiver right. As Callaway looks to the sideline and with Henry on his right shoulder now in the backfield. Man in motion from left to right is Hawkes. Fumbled in the backfield by Callaway. Scoops it up Australian rolls football style, but gets thrown down for a loss on that one. And that will be, looks like 6-yard loss for Callaway. Nothing he could do about it. The ball was kind of rolled on the floor that time, and he could just barely scoop it up and get out of pressure, but then went down as he tried to advance to the right side.
Exactly. He did the best he could, though. He did keep the ball, didn't turn it over like it has happened in the past. So now it'll be a 4th and long.
They'll back it up again behind the 35 at the 37-yard line. Needs to get to the 30, so a 7-yard need here for the Eagles on a 4th down. But they're in Oregon Mountain territory. 2 receivers right, 1 in the left. Callaway shotgun, back at the 44, steps back, in the pocket, tucks it, goes up the middle, 35, 30, 25, and falls backward, backpedaling again, and gets the first down. He's going to get 4, or make it 7, 10, 12 on that one for the quarterback Callaway in the first down.
And we may have an injury on the field for the Knights. He is slow to get up. In fact, he's still on the ground.
Callaway with 14 yards in 4 carries so far. Yep, the timeout going to be official now as flat on his back, helmet's off, and looks like a right knee up in the air. And he is definitely reeling in pain there. We'll take a break. 5:08 remaining third quarter. Your Eagles up by 41, 44-3 over Oregon Mountain. Back in 30 seconds to make it 60 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. The injury for the Oregon Mountain squad. We'll get that here in just a second. They go with the handoff for the Eagles around the left end on a first down and 10 from the 24-yard line. As getting the football coming around the left side. I believe it was Henry again. He gets, looks like 2 on that one. As the injured player that was helped off the field for Oregon Mountain, Levi Goodman, their wide receiver, also plays defense.
That's a hard loss for him right there.
3-yard pickup for Henry. Now at the 30, make it the 21. Tuck and go around the right side. The handoff to Jaquez. He came in motion left to right, and now he's going to get another first down for the Eagles. As that's going to be an 11-yard pickup for him. And move the chains once again. 10 first downs for the Eagles. First run for Jaquez of the contest. Loves to come in motion from those receiver slot positions.
And you can see how strong he is. That's the reason why he loves to do it, because it looks like, from my angle anyway, that he is overshadowing most of the players down there.
So quarterback is Beatty now for Callaway on this series as we wait for the shotgun to him back at the 17-yard line. Turns and fires a screen pass backward, but it's caught at the 15 behind the line of scrimmage. Breaking tackles to the 10-5 and down to the 2-yard line. So getting 8 yards, a kind of a broken play there in the backfield. So Hobbs making something out of it. Rodriguez comes up with that shot there.
He did. Just some missed tackles by the Knights. Could not wrap them up, and he made him suffer for it.
Yeah, 2 catches now for 13 yards for Rodriguez. That one for 8. And brings up a second down and goal at the 2-yard line. Little delay now. A sub coming in late for the Eagles from the sideline. And that kind of coming to the line of scrimmage and spun around was Brock Beatty getting a call from Coach Stevens. Twins right, receiver left. Beatty waiting for the shotgun. Gives the ball up the middle to Henry. Breaks a tackle at the 2 and tries to dive forward. A big pile up there at the goal line. We're going to have to wait to see if they're going to call the touchdown. Yep, TD called as they're going to come unravel with Pyle here and a score for the Eagles. Boy, they're getting closer and closer to that mercy roll win as it is Henry for a 2-yard touchdown, his second rushing touchdown of the game. He had one for 3 back in the second quarter.
Yeah, and he had, like you said, the first tackle, he had 2 guys on him. Could not bring him down at all. In fact, it made him more energetic. He was able to get out of that one and go in for the touchdown.
Yeah, 50 points on the scoreboard for the Eagles. Their second 50 points in a row here. Here's the kick, is up, and it is good inside the left upright. So the Hobbs Eagles winning last week 56-19, and this week 51-3, up by 48, 2 points away from the Mercy Roll game over status that the Eagles would like to do to go home early and get rested up for the weekend. 3:02 remaining here in the third. 51-3, your Eagles over Oregon Mountain, back in 30 seconds. – 51-3, your score here in Las Cruces at the Field of Dreams. 48-point lead for the Eagles, 2 away from the Mercy Roll game over status. 3:02 left in the third quarter. As Ty friend Ron Gunner and Evie Stuber coming at you live tonight. Eagles playing Oregon Mountain for their next to last district game on the schedule. Hobbs at home next week against Carlsbad. Here comes the kickoff, going to go deep. Back to the 10 on a back pedal catch. Brought across the 15, far left side, 20, 25, and that's where it'll end up for Oregon Mountain. Had flat on his back, the return man getting helped off the field there by the officials as he was flat down for just a second, and that was for Oregon Mountain, Xavier Perez. He came out earlier, getting walloped pretty hard there. So Oregon Mountain trying to get some offense going. Their only score came in the second quarter, a 32-yard field goal, but nothing else since then. Hobbs had 2 touchdowns, one a offensive, one a pick 6 in the first quarter. Hobbs scored 4 times, 3 touchdowns and a field goal in the second, and have scored twice in this third quarter. So they've got 6 unanswered scores in the last minutes of this game. 2:15 ticking with the Mercy Roll clock. Shotgun loaded triangle. Back up about 8 steps. Throws a quick flat shot to the right side to the 25, 30, breaking a tackle, 35, 40, 45, 50. There's the flag, though. 40, 30 to the Eagles, 20, 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown. But these chains are going to have to stick where they're at. There's a penalty marker back at the 27. They're actually moving the chains down the field, but there's a flag back at the 27.
Well, let's see what happens on this one because, yeah, you're right. There is a flag at the 27-yard line, which normally means that'd be a hole. But so far, all the refs are going towards that end zone. So we're going to see what happens on this one. This may be a face mask.
Man with the football that time. They're going to call the declined penalty. Must have been against the defense. So E.J. Guerra was the man that caught the little pass to the right side flat. See, where did they start on that one? What was the original line of scrimmage? Was it the 23, I think?
I think so, too.
So that's was that a 77-yard play there for Guerra.
Right.
Out the screen pass. And that will be the touchdown, first of the game for Oregon Mountain. They did score that field goal, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, there was a face mask on Hobbs. Of course, he declined it and took the touchdown.
So screen pass scoring. The kick is up on the PAT, and it is good. 1:52 remaining in the third quarter. Still a mercy rule game. 41-point lead for the Eagles. 51-10 over Oregon Mountain. We'll come back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. (51-10) your score. Your Eagles up by 41, but a score just recent here by a screen pass as Tarango hit his backfield running back Guerra out in the right flat. A little last-second screen throw to avoid getting sacked, and Guerra scampered up the right sideline unofficially for 77 yards on that one for the touchdown. 51-10 your score. 41-point lead. Mercy rule, of course, at 35, so Hobbs still +6 in that situation right now. That clock will run until it gets underneath 35. Of course, next week, the Eagles at home against Watson Stadium, taking on Carlsbad. Final game of the regular season for district. 6:45 pregame, kickoff at 7, and more than likely a chance for the playoffs the week after that, as the Hobbs Eagles should be in a good position for a playoff. Of course, there'll be a couple of bye teams, Cleveland being one of those, and probably La Cueva. We'll have to wait and see if how that all pans out with the last two games of the season coming on right now, this week and next week. Now, the face mask, they went ahead and took that, I believe. It must have been the small face mask, not the 15 personal foul. Basically, the difference between those, the 5-yard meaning the helmet did not move around a lot, but 15 would be a lot of grab action going on there.
Right.
So they went ahead and just said, since it was on the touchdown run or screen pass for the touchdown, they elected to take it on the kickoff. So a 5-yard penalty. So that'll be against the Eagles. And they're ready for the kickoff here. So Hobbs with 6 penalties for 50 yards. The kick is a hard one and low, and it'll go into the end zone halfway and rolling out of the back left side. So Hobbs will get the automatic touchback at their 20. Of course, I would think the Eagles will want to score big time here to get that score back up. It's just a 41-point game, of definitely a blowout regardless. But you kind of got punched in the gut on that one screen pass and a big play, and we haven't seen many big plays from Oregon Mountain at all in this game.
Yeah, in fact, they've scored the 10 points is now their second highest, or their highest in the district so far. They did 10 against Carlsbad.
Yeah, they're averaging just 3 points a game against their two previous district opponents in Las Cruces and Centennial, both arch rivals here from Las Cruces. 1st and 10 from the 20, Eagle football. Shotgun, handoff, angle left, coming across the 20 down to the 23-yard line. Going to be a 4 or 5-yard pickup depending on the knee touch.
It looks like about 4 yards, maybe even 5.
New ball carrier on that one for Hobbs. Raul Garza gets the handoff that time. And it looks like they will give him 5, as you mentioned. So that's another new name in terms of the backfield for Hobbs. So Garza for 5. 2nd down and 5 now from the 25. Twins left, receiver right for the Eagles. 3 in the front box for Oregon Mountain. Now make it 4. Beatty is the quarterback, of course. They put a man in motion. Jaquez give it to the tailback instead. He gets his legs ripped down from behind. He's going to go down to the backfield, lose about 2 on that one. Tried to pull clean, but nothing going on that play. That's one again from Garza. Looks like a loss about 1.5 yards, make it 1 for Garza. And it's 3rd down and 7 now for the Eagles. Actually lost it 2 on the play. Clock down to 47 seconds left, 3rd quarter due to the mercy rule clock, 51-10. Hobbs up by 41. They had 56 last week, so this is their 2nd highest point total so far this season. Of course, they still got a quarter left after this. Back to shotgun goes Beatty. He's been on the last 2 series for Hobbs. Twins right, receiver left. 3-step drop, steps up in the pocket, fires. Fade route, wide open to the 50 on the run. 40 breaking a tackle, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Yeah, all alone, caught it in stride once again. That was a great pass by Beatty and a great touchdown for the Hobbs Eagles.
So Hobbs gets right back on the scoreboard.
Looks like that is 26.
Checking the roster on that one. I don't have a 26, so let's see if that got a bunch of new numbers on the field tonight. I'll try to find out who that was for you here in just a second.
Exactly. In the meantime, we're about to get set up for another PAT, a quick strike. And actually, we're still in the 3rd quarter on this one for the Hobbs Eagles against the Oregon Mountain Knights.
57-10, a 47-point lead. Good snap, kick is up, and it is good. So 58-10 is the score. 48-point lead would be 2 more points, and that would be mercy rule victory.
So, yeah, it is close once again. The Hobbs Eagles relentlessly playing this game like they need to win it, and they definitely do if they want to do well in the playoffs.
That might have been Justin Black. It looked like a 26, but I think that might have been a 20, so I think he's the one that gets credited for the score on that one. We'll double-check that if we can before the end of the ball game. So the Hobbs Eagles up by 48. We'll take a quick 30-second break and come back live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Your Hobbs Eagles up 58-10 with 15 seconds remaining here in the 3rd. Hobbs would love to get the ball back and get the final 2 points they need. That would be a safety, obviously, but they could get more than the 50 if possible, and would be a mercy rule win. Here comes the kickoff as it comes up to the 25, rolls and picked up for Oregon Mountain on the far side, across to the 27, about a 2-yard return, not much more than that. So this freshman kicker are doing a good job of getting those long boots down the field in some bad spots for Oregon Mountain. Not a lot of running room out there. Got to give some credit to Jaden Taylor that has moved up as the kicker in this ball game, a freshman. So not great field position so far here for Oregon Mountain, but they did have some big plays, a 78-yard pass, or correction, 77-yard screen pass earlier to get their first touchdown of the ball game. That was to Guerra. And now it looks like we're adding on some yards here, waiting to see what the call is. Oh, no, that's into the 4th quarter, I believe. That's what's happened. So that finishes up the 3rd quarter of action. We're heading to the 4th. Again, 58-10, your score. Hobbs by 48. Coming back in 30 seconds live on Cool 95.7 on the radio, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page on the internet. Starting the 4th quarter here at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, 58-10 Eagles over the Oregon Mountain Knights. Unofficially, that was a 77-yard pass play to Black for the touchdown for the Eagles just seconds ago. Oregon Mountain 1st and 10 from their 27. Tarango going to throw the curl route over to the 30-yard line. The catch made, 35, 40, and the first down. That'll be at least 14 yards. Clock will continue to run with the mercy rule, though. Looks like they're going to give him 14 on that catch. And the reception for Oregon Mountain by Xavier Perez. That's going to be his third catch now for 22 total. Oregon Mountain is now 8 of 12 in the passing game. That will be a first down, their 5th of the contest. First and 10 from the 43-yard line.
We got a confirmation it was Black that scored that touchdown.
Yep, we just said that just a second ago.
I know. But
waiting for the shotgun now for Tarango as he gives the handoff up the gut. And that's not going to be a big advantage for Oregon Mountain as they have a major problem with the clock on the mercy rule.
Right.
As coming up the gut with the handoff there, Guerra. That's his first rush of the second half. He did catch that long pass, the screen pass, for a touchdown. 3 pickup for Guerra. He's got 8 carries for 14 yards. Remember, Oregon Mountain only had 10 rushing yards in the first half and 40 yards overall after 30 yards receptions in the first half. So Hobbs Eagle defense really taking care of business. Going to be now at the 45.5-yard line for Oregon Mountain. Twins left, receiver right. Back to pass, the throw on the out route, almost intercepted. Ball gets tipped in the air and caught by Oregon Mountain at the 50, and then a big pileup on top of him.
4 Eagles brought him down, but not before. Looks like he got the first down.
About a 6-yard pickup, and again, he got knocked hard to the turf after that. Again, that's Perez. He continues to be the guy they're getting the ball out to. That will be a 6th first down for Oregon Mountain. 25 yards in receptions here in the second half, 28 overall for Perez. And that'll be the 9th reception of the game for Oregon Mountain. So they are moving into Hobbs Eagle territory now at the 47-yard line on the left hash. Clock is not their advantage, Joe, at 9:58 remaining here in the 4th, and Hobbs up by 48.
Exactly, and they are fighting the clock as well as the Hobbs Eagles.
Twins right, receiver left. Tarango back in the shotgun as a man behind him. Waits for the snap. Delay handoff up the middle, and Guerra going to get met hard by the Eagles.
And once again, I see some players pumped up, ready to play on this one. And I do believe that was, of course, Tristan Davis that is pumped up about his play as well as his teammates.
And he had some help from number 83. These infamous numbers with no names on them tonight. So a lot of guys, I think, moved up on the roster. And that would be look like did they give him a loss on that play?
No, they gave him to the line of scrimmage at best.
So not much going on there for Guerra. Bring up a 2nd down and 10. Back to pass Tarango, a 5-step drop. Now he's going to roll right. As a man behind him almost took him down hard for the Eagles, but able to get the screen pass to the left side. Pretty much the only thing that's been working for Oregon Mountain, those screen passes. And that's going to be about a 9-yard pickup on this left sideline in front of the Oregon Mountain bench near side.
Yeah, the chains were trying to move, but it wasn't quite a first down. So still has a little room to go.
Yeah, that's going to be Guerra who gets a 9-yard reception on that one. He's got 2 catches for 86, including that screen pass earlier that scored a touchdown. So that has been working for him. 3rd down and 1 now from the 38-yard line of the Eagles. We got a late flag after the play, dead ball foul. Maybe somebody running their mouth a little bit too much down there. Wait to see what the officials got on this one. Legal participation against Oregon Mountain. Not sure what that was about. Looks like the coaching staff has their arms thrown up in the air. Now, last week they had their head coach thrown out of the game before halftime against Las Cruces High, a 42-0 loss. Perez, the head coach. Now, again, we mentioned in the pregame show that he was a national coach of the year and actually won 2 national championships, and they're not really played as physical games, but just based on records and who their opponents were for a high school in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, well, this will make it their 14th loss in a row as of last year to this year, and they cannot get on the winning streak still.
I think that might have been a 15-yard penalty.
It looked like it. It's definitely 3rd and long.
Backed up to the 42-yard line. That's about a 21 yards they need. 2nd and 21 from the 42. Back to pass. Tarango's going to roll right. He wants to throw. Lets it loose with a spiral to the right sideline. It's loose at the 20, knocked down for the Eagles. They had double coverage out there. 1 receiver between 2 defenders. And somebody got a piece of that football, I believe, just slapping high in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the defender for the Hobbs Eagles deep that time, Dale Madsen, the free safety, out there deep and helping out. And knocks that ball away from the receiver And that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 21. Make it 3rd and 20 from the 43-yard line. Clock down to 7:38 remaining here in the 4th as your Hobbs Eagles up by 48, 58-10. And, of course, the Hobbs Eagles getting a ton of scoring in the first half. They had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, 3 in the second, including a field goal. Hobbs scoring 3 touchdowns in the third as well, now in the 4th. Back to pass Tarango on a low shotgun snap, 4-step drop. Fires the curl route to the 50, but the receiver kind of got hunched down underneath the defense that time. The ball sails over his head, incomplete.
And that's going to be a tough 4th down for him as well. 4th and 20, and if they were smart, they would probably go ahead and kick it. I mean, unless they want to go ahead and try for it, I mean, why not? You're down by so much, but no, it looks like they are going to punt it.
A couple of guys in the area that passed that time just kind of waiting for it, and that included Peyton Davis. Incomplete, 4th down and 20 now from the 43. Looks like they do have a punter in the ball game. Again, Hobbs up by a mercy rule score of 48, 58-10. Late sub checking in for Oregon Mountain, barely getting on the field in time there, going to the right side of the line. 6:30 left in the contest. Punter will be back at about the 30 by the time he gets the kick away, and that's where he'll kick it from is the 30. Kind of a low sidewinder, takes a roll for Oregon Mountain. Down to the Eagle 32-yard line. It's tapped dead there, Hobbs football. So I guess with the clock running, you really don't have to do anything but just come out in the field and let it run as much as possible there.
Right.
Whether it be the 25-second or the 40-second clock on the field at least. Ball marked at the 31-yard line. Clock definitely not a asset for Oregon Mountain at this point. He's about ready to drop to 0-9 on the season and 0-3 in district. Or 0-4 in district. Back to shotgun goes Beatty. He's back at the 25. He's come in here in the second half for Callaway. 1 receiver left, two to the right side. A handoff around the right end to the 30, trying to stretch it out. Cuts up on the hash right side and stumbles ahead. Fell down to the 39, but that will be a positive 8-yard pickup.
Exactly, and yeah, he did fight to get those extra 3 yards as he was coming to the going to the ground, but was able to use his hand to stop that and continue his momentum.
Shamus Wright getting his first chance for the football. And he's just a freshman, so 8 yards. He did start in the first game on defense as a cornerback, and in this game now with 8 yards to his name. 2nd down and 2 now from the 39. Shotgun to Beatty, handoff to the left side, and taking guys on his back for the 1st down plus. That's going to be about 6 yards for, I believe that's Shamus Wright again. So back-to-back runs. And picks up 6.
And a 1st down for the Eagles, making it look rather easy as he powers his way through there as well. We got a quick update on a score. It's in Loving. Eunice is up 28-14 at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Good job of coming back in that one and just kind of extending it. Very close game earlier, just a 1-point affair. Eagles picking up their 11th 1st down. Shotgun for Beatty, receiver left and right. Give to Shamus Wright, extends it around the left end to the 45, 50, into Oregon Mountain territory down to the 41-yard line. This kid is really lighting it up now. That'll be 14 yards for him, make it 13 for Shamus Wright. 3 runs in a row for him, the freshman, 27 yards on 3 carries, averaging 9 a pop, and will again move the chains for the 12th time in this ball game.
Exactly, once again in Knights territory and moving the ball rather efficiently for the Hobbs Eagles.
3:55 remaining here in the game. 58-10 Eagles by 48 in this mercy roll contest. Hobbs now looking to the sideline for the play call from Coach Ken Stevens.
Yeah, no urgency, but they don't need to. I mean, the play either is going to end or they're going to get a score.
Eagles improved to 4-5 on the season and their 2nd district win in a row. Shotgun, Beatty going to hand it off. Shamus Wright dodging and diving through the middle of the line, spinning to the right side, continues to move the pile, and he's out about 7 or 8 more yards. Right in the thick of the middle of the field there.
Able to break 3 tackles before he finally was brought down, but not before he almost got the 1st down.
Yeah, gets 8, they're going to say, marked down there as he was kind of held up by the Oregon Mountain defense. Now 4 carries for Wright. He's got 35 yards on the ground. 2nd down and 2 now. The ball's at the 33.5-yard line. Back to shotgun as Beatty brings 1 man in motion. Going to hand it off right to left, coming around the end. And beating pressure onto the 25 to the far sideline and just kind of diving his way around him was Jaquez.
And even though he went out of bounds, it's still not going to stop the clock.
8 yards for Hawkes, second carry for 19 total. That'll be the 13th first down for the Eagles. Clock at 2:40, as you mentioned. They'll mark it at the 23. Hobbs taking their time as they look over the line or make it to the sideline. They have no rush to get the play calls here. Clock to their advantage with that 48-point lead. And you wanted to see some blowout wins in these last two games of the regular season to kind of solidify their playoff spot, right, Ron?
Exactly. I wanted to see them do well and be able to get a higher position in those playoffs with these wins.
Currently ranked 9th in the Max Preps Bowl. Head out to right across the 20, hurdling 15-10. Continues to drag people with him down to the 9-yard line.
And he's slung down about the 9-yard line.
Looks like 11 for Wright that time. He's had 2 double-digit runs on this drive and moves guys with him on his back. That's 14 first downs.
And once again, first and goal.
46 yards on the ground for Shamus Wright on 5 carries here in the fourth quarter on this last drive of the ball game. 140 and ticking. Again, Eagles taking that time they need as they are in no rush to get the play call to the line of scrimmage.
90 seconds left for this game.
Beatty underneath the center now with twins left, receiver right. He's going to stay behind a little bit. Not sure if they're going to get a traditional snap or not here. Kind of waiting to see what he's going to do. Yep, he will come underneath the center now. Clock to 118.
Yeah,
going to kneel it down.
Yeah.
Yep, the victory formation here. You have to do it a couple more times. -1 on that play for Beatty. So the Hobbs Eagles, big win on the road here at the Field of Dreams. 58 points, their biggest point production of the season. They had 56 last week against Alamogordo. And again, this is another team that underneath the numbers the Hobbs Eagles were looking at in terms of playoff spots, 12 total. They're at number 9 on the Max Preps poll, but there's a couple of teams that can make some movement, West Mesa being one of them. But there's a couple other teams underneath the Eagles like Clovis and Alamogordo and Oregon Mountain that would not really have much of a chance with head-to-head competition, as the Eagles have beat those 3 teams so far this season.
Last play.
Beatty will nail down one more time for a -1, and that should do it, as you mentioned, with 28 seconds left in the ball game. And both teams going to run to the sidelines here. That should be the last play, as you mentioned. 58-10, the Hobbs Eagles winning by 48 on the road here in Las Cruces. But the team's getting the handshake line, and still 10 seconds on the clock. And as the referees just stand in their position as well. So Hobbs getting a big road trip victory here, and will get their record up to 4-5 on the season, 1 away from 500 with the win next week, and their second in a row, 2-2 now in the district. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and 2 points better than what they did last week against Alamogordo.
So 58 points on the scoreboard on this one. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show live on Cool 95.7 on the radio, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page on the internet. We're back live at the Field of Dreams as the Hobbs Eagles victorious tonight over Oregon Mountain. Final score 58-10, a mercy rule win for the Eagles. Again, pull their district record to 2-2 and 4-5 overall. One more game next week could make them 500 on the season with the win over Carlsbad at Watson Stadium. Ty, friend Ron Gunner with you here and Las Cruces, and Evie Stuber back at the station. We'll get you some updates on Lee County games here in just a minute. But first, Ron, before we get to the stats of this contest, major win. You said you thought they needed both of those to kind of stay in the top 8 or so, maybe possible playoff teams. Right now at number 9 in the Max Preps poll. But was this the impressive win you were expecting tonight?
Yeah, if you look at it just like you do with the college football, what they look at is win margin. And this is a great win margin, 48 points, of course, close to a mercy rule. They could have actually gotten it if they wanted to. However, they were nice enough with the last 90 seconds, so they did not score again. Instead, they just went ahead and knelt and took the victory. I think that is great sportsmanship. But yeah, in the end, they needed to have a great victory. I thought they played well on both sides. Once again, I think they're clicking on all cylinders, and they definitely need to do that because you never know how Carlsbad's going to come up. I mean, they've been playing short this year, this season, but we've seen it in the past where Carlsbad has struggled in the season, and when they get to a Hobbs, they get to a whole new level and are able to win. But, in the end, Hobbs needed this victory. They needed a big one to be able to prove that they can win big games. And then the next week, because of the fact that Carlsbad is lower in strength, lower in ratings, they also have to come out and do the same thing, strong-arm them, and be able to get at least a 30, to my opinion anyway, they need to get Mercy Rule 35 to a minimum as far as their winning margin to be able to say, hey, you know what? We deserve to be in the playoffs, and this is why.
Looking at the scoring in this game, Hobbs up early, 14-0 in the contest. A 2-yard run for Kennedy, a pick 6 for Adrian Mora, and again blanking Oregon Mountain 14-0 in the first. Hobbs getting 4 more scores in the second, but Oregon Mountain did get their first score of the game to start the second. A 32-yard field goal for Nathaniel Chavez made it 14-3. Then they had some scoring from Gabriel Henry. He had a 3-yard run for the first touchdown of the second quarter. Also a big pass from Callaway to 20 yards to Franklin made it 27-3 at that point. Jaquez getting a 3-yard pass made it 34-3, and then Beatty kicked a 22-yard field goal with 13 seconds left in the first half to make it 37-3 at half. So the Eagles were up by 34. Third quarter, 2 more scores for the Eagles, an 88-yard kickoff return for Jaquez for his second touchdown, and a 2-yard run for Henry for his second touchdown put the score at 51-3 with 3:02 left in the third. But they did have a 77-yard screen pass play to Guerra off Tarango's throw to get a score for Oregon Mountain to make it 51-10 at that point. And then, of course, the last score of the game, a 77-yard pass in the third quarter to Black. That was from Beatty to make it 58-10. That was the final game score of a 48-point victory in a Mercy Rule game for the Hobbs Eagles. Let's look at the numbers first for Oregon Mountain. Not much going on in the running department in this game. They finished up with just 6 yards total on the ground. Guerra was 9 of 14, and Tarango 9 of -8. Those are the only 2 guys that got a touch of the football in the running game for Oregon Mountain. Again, just 6 yards. Great job for the Hobbs Eagle defense in shutting down the running game. Passing department, they did get triple digits, 141 passing yards. Perez had 4 catches for 28. Guerra, 2 catches for 86, including the 77-yard screen pass for a touchdown. Ware had 1 catch for 9, and also Goodman, 3 catches for 18. They were 10 of 17 in the passing game for 141 yards. So just 147 yards in total offense for Oregon Mountain, one of their low productions of the season, with the Hobbs Eagle defense doing some good stuff. In terms of penalties in this game, they had 4 for 40, and that was about it in terms of the numbers. 6 first downs for Oregon Mountain in the contest. Looking at your Hobbs Eagles, lots of guys getting a chance to run the football in this one. Jaquez had 2 carries for 19. Garza came in late for 2 carries for 3 yards. Callaway had a total of 4 carries for 14 yards. Henry with 6 rushes for 31 yards, and he had a 2-yard touchdown run, as we mentioned, also a 14-yard run. Kennedy had 9 carries for 56 yards, including a 2-yard touchdown run. And that's it for the positive yards for the Hobbs Eagles. They had 167 yards in rushing in this ball game. Oh, we mentioned also, too, I should forget, before I forget, Shamus Wright came in the fourth quarter. He had a lot of carries for the Hobbs Eagles. In fact, 54 rushing yards on 5 carries for him. So definitely a good job for the freshman coming in late for the Eagles. Again, 167 yards in rushing for the Hobbs Eagles. Passing department, they had Beatty coming in the fourth quarter, but also we had a lot of throws in the first half through the third quarter for the Hobbs Eagles too. And, of course, that was the starter for Hobbs, Callaway. Jaquez getting 4 catches for 95 yards. He had 2 long ones, a 45-yarder and a 43-yarder, and a 3-yard touchdown reception as well. Rodriguez had 2 catches for 13. Black finished up with that 1 catch for 8 yards, and I should add another one here. He had the 77 yards also, so he had 2 catches for 85 yards for the Eagles in this contest. Franklin had 2 for 66. And let me add, I got to add my numbers real quick here because I missed one. So 182 plus 77, a total for the Hobbs Eagles in this game of 300 and, let me get this right here, 359 in the ball game for the Hobbs Eagles in the passing department. So definitely taking care of business in this game, Ron.
Yes, they are. And, you know, it is great to see that, especially late in this season, that they have gelled together, been able to overcome their obstacles. They're not getting any penalties. They're not getting any fumbles. They're not getting any turnovers. The passing game seems to be a little more crisper, especially with Beatty back there. And you know what? With the running game and the passing game, and especially with Henry, he can rumble down the field. In fact, he was rumbling down about 5 yards, just stumbling and bumbling and be able to get in those extra yards and be able to get some nice field advantage as far as for the Hobbs Eagles. And Oregon Mountain just unable to be able to stop anything at all except for themselves with the penalties that they had plus the turnovers.
Let me update those numbers real quick here. 167 in the run, 259 in the passing department for 426 total offense for the Hobbs Eagles tonight. Again, compared to 147 for Oregon Mountain. So definitely dominating this game with the Mercy Rule win, 58-10. Hobbs with a total of 14 first downs. They finished with 6 penalties for 50 yards in the game, a little bit better than what we saw last week against Alamogordo, where they had 158 yards in penalties. So a little bit of a cleanup going on there. Hobbs 9 of 12 in the passing game. Definitely a good job for the Hobbs Eagles. So pretty much a domination game here tonight. They get the record of 2-2 in district, and of course 4-5 overall. 1 game remaining next week, Ron, and that is against Carlsbad at Watson Stadium. You pretty much got to expect Hobbs will definitely get a playoff spot with the top 12 teams going in the 6A. The question is where they're going to end up on the rankings. Max Prep's currently at 9. So they have 3 slots beneath them at this point, and some of those teams they've already defeated. Clovis, possibility. Carlsbad, who they play next week, they've already knocked off Alamogordo, and now Oregon Mountain. So things are looking pretty good at this point. Looking at those teams that are beneath them, other than those squads that they've taken apart, West Mesa right on their heels. They have a 6-5 overall record right now.
Yeah, and so far what I've seen is Sandia is losing big time with about 8 minutes to go, and they're playing La Cueva 44-0. So that'll help as far as Hobbs Eagles and as far as standings, possibly getting them up a little bit more. The El Dorado versus Farmington game is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to find out soon about what's going on with West Mesa. As you said, 4-4, seeing if they win or lose, and seeing what that'll help or hurt the Eagle cause.
The real question mark is Rio Rancho, currently ranked 10th, 1 spot behind the Hobbs Eagles at 9. Of course, Hobbs Eagles defeated Rio Rancho on the road. Rancho with a 6-2 record at this point, so +4 in that win-loss record column. But they have a -6.9 strength of schedule, so kind of a question. They're probably, with Hobbs winning head-to-head, they could be ahead of Rio Rancho in the playoffs. West Mesa at number 11 at 4-4, as you mentioned. El Dorado at number 12, 3-5 record. Clovis, Alamogordo, and Carlsbad 13-15. So pretty much Hobbs has the advantage over Clovis and Alamogordo with the wins over them. Carlsbad at 15 would like to pick off the Hobbs Eagles, even have a shot at making the playoffs. So that's going to be a pivotal game next week, especially as you mentioned the margin of victory might have an impact on where they end up in the rankings and in the playoffs. So hope you enjoyed the game tonight. Lots of good stuff going on for the Hobbs Eagles in this one on the road as they win 58-10. And, of course, Ron, do you have any game catch-ups we could do in Lee County?
Sure as well do. Let's see. Of course, we'll update you on the Leamington game that happened earlier. 47-26 was the final. They went up to Albuquerque and beat Albuquerque Academy on that one. Last time I checked, Tatum was losing in the fourth quarter to Logan. The score right now is 44-6. Not doing very, very well for Tatum at all. And then let's see. Last time I saw, Eunice was still up 28-14. I'm not sure exactly where they are in the fourth quarter, but pretty sure they're there.
Against who?
Again, that would be against Loving once again. And let's see. We had Jow doing rather poorly against Texaco, but it's still a close game. 21-13 looks like that's also in the fourth quarter. And, of course, you want to talk about some really good games that just were blowouts. Artesia, even though they got scored on twice with Goddard lost that one big time. It's 54-14. Roswell beat Mayfield 48-15. And those scores are going to influence the Levington outcome as well.
So that's catch you caught up on the Lee County games. We'd like to thank our Hobbs Eagle football sponsors this season: Devon Energy, Eastern New Mexico University, Forest Tire, A-Tech Air Conditioning and Heating, First American Bank of Hobbs, Innomar Pipeline, Lee County State Bank, Divine Energy Services, Lasco Construction, and TDS. Once again, final score here tonight in Las Cruces, 58-10. Your Hobbs Eagles with a victory over Organ Mountain. For E.B. Stewart back at the station, Ron Gunner, and myself, Ty Friend, thanks for listening to Hobbs Eagle football, and we'll see you next Friday at Watson Stadium as the Hobbs Eagles take on Carlsbad, 6:45 p.m. on your No Mark Broadcasting stations. Have a great rest of a weekend out there.